Whitaker Bank Ballpark is ready to open its gates to the legends of fans in Lexington. But before the first pitch, you still have time for an autograph or two and a trip to the souvenir shop. Minor League Baseball now on ASN. Welcome to the Commonwealth of Kentucky. The American Sports Network rides into Lexington, where we are proud to present the Sunday Showcase. Gorgeous scenery surrounding us here at Whitaker Bank Ballpark, as tonight the Lexington Legends are hosting the Greensboro Grasshoppers. Well, hi again, everyone. I'm Dave Armstrong, along with former big leaguer Keith Moreland. And, Keith, this is your first journey into the Sunday Showcase. We've been in El Paso, Myrtle Beach, and now here tonight in Lexington. Take us back to your days in the minor leagues.
Well, I think the first thing I remember are the bus trips. There's no question about that. And then the camaraderie amongst the guys, because it was the first time that everybody had one goal, and that goal was to play in the big leagues. And this is where it starts. You have to hone your craft here to get a chance to play in the showcase.
And that's certainly the goal of these players will be showcasing here tonight, including Arturo Rodriguez of Greensboro.
Well, you look at our Rodriguez, he's one of these guys that signed out of the Mexican League. He's 23 years old. He's showing power. That's what his development is. He's always had great bat speed. He has got a good arm behind the plate, playing first base tonight, but it's one of those games and one of those situations where you see a young man that can play multiple positions, helps you get to the big leagues quicker.
And then there's Alfredo Escalera. This is a kid who was drafted very, very young, but boy, is he developing fast.
Well, in the 2012 draft, he was the youngest player drafted in the draft. He's also doing the same thing. He's coming along. His numbers better than they have been any time in his career. He is showing that growth now in all departments. He's a 5-tool guy, top 20 prospect in the Kansas City organization.
Can't wait to watch him here tonight and all these other guys who are trying to make it to the big leagues right here. It's our Sunday Showcase. The Grasshoppers of Greensboro taking on the Lexington Legends. The first pitch in just a moment. Beautiful night here in Lexington, Kentucky, and the Grasshoppers and the Legends are all set to go. Let's check out the starting lineup. First of all, for the visitors from Greensboro, Mason Davis will lead things off and play left field for them. He's followed by Rodrigo Vigil. Then Arturo Rodriguez, we talked about him. He is an all-star. Then Brian Shales, Austin Smith, also an all-star, Justin Twine, John Norwood, Ronnie Cabrera, and then Ryan Aper, the center fielder. He bats ninth. The defense behind Pedro Fernandez is Dueñas in left, Downs in center, Escalera in right. Franco and Arteaga are on the left side, Toops and O'Hearn on the right, with Velo behind the plate. The starting pitcher is Pedro Fernandez, and Omar Ramirez talks about him.
Well, Pedro is a horse on the mound. I mean, he has a very good fastball. He is still working on his breaking ball. Fastball and changeup are his best pitches. And, you know, he's struggling a little bit with his command this year. Last game, it was nice to see him throwing strikes, you know, and hopefully he takes off from there.
Well, obviously having a much better start to this season than he had a year ago here with Lexington when he went just 1-8. Look at his numbers from this year.
Well, I'll tell you the two things that jump off the page. He's a top 20 prospect for the Royals. The thing that impressed me is he is struggling with his breaking ball. He's averaging about 3 walks per 9 innings of work, so he's cut down. His command's been pretty good. He's got a real good movement to his fastball, an outstanding change. That's the separate. That's what's made him better this year and will get him to the big leagues quicker, is his ability to change speeds in the strike zone.
He averages better than a strikeout per inning, and a swing and a foul straight back to the screen by Mason Davis. So Pedro Fernandez, who, as you mentioned, in the top 20 as far as prospects are concerned with the Kansas City Royals. And in case you're wondering, there's a good fastball, but riding high at 92 miles an hour. The Grasshoppers, their major league club, are the Miami Marlins. Both these teams in A-ball. There's a fastball rip foul again, and it's 2-2. In the South Atlantic League, the umpires for tonight's game, Christopher Lloyd is calling the balls and strikes, and out on the bases is Justin Robbins.
Tough job. 2 guys work in the minor leagues. You're behind the plate every other day, especially when we get into the heat of the summer. Tensions get a little high sometimes with umpires as well.
Strike 3 called. Good fastball on the inside edge, and 1 up, 1 down for Pedro Fernandez.
This is the 2-seam fastball. He starts it off the plate inside, and then it tails back and catches the corner. Even though the catcher's not setting there, that ball still tailed back, caught the inside corner, just stunned him. With Davis a good prospect too. He's one of those sleepers that a lot of people starting to take a look at it with his speed for the Greensboro Ball Club.
Fastball up high again. Rodrigo Vigil is the batter. He is hitting .306 on the year, hasn't homered yet, and has 20 runs batted in. 3 for 5 in this series. Fastball outside, 2-0.
Hey, you walk around the ballpark, their name's the Grasshoppers, but they're all called the Hoppers.
Yeah, the Hoppers.
The Hoppers.
Little tapper out toward third. Franco's got it. Throw across the diamond in plenty of time. 2 up, 2 down.
Good movement to the fastball right there, Dave. And early in your career, at this level in A-ball, you want to work on making sure as a hitter that you're trying to get through the ball, get linear with your swing. Those are the developmental things that you're trying to work on. Got jammed that time.
Speaking of developmental, Kevin Randall is in his first year as a manager and really making some adjustments. We'll talk more about him and the adjustments that he's making, along with these Grasshoppers, who are right now in last place in the Northern Division. Well, here's Arturo Rodriguez, sometimes catcher, tonight playing first base. And his numbers pretty good so far, hitting close to 300 with 4 homers and 29 runs batted in. Fastball just missed outside, and it's 2-0.
When he was signed out of the Mexican League, he's a guy that could hit. But they wanted to develop. He's a big man. He's developing that power. 11 doubles, 4 home runs this season. And you can see him now understanding it takes hitters a long time, Dave, at times, even though they have good bat speed and have the ability to drive the ball, to pick their spots to drive the ball.
Kind of that open stance, and then he closes it as he dives in toward the pitcher, and a base hit out to left center field. Dueñez will pick it up and hold Rodriguez to a single.
At all levels in this game, at the big league level all the way down to through little league. You elevate the fastball, it's going to get hit on the barrel of the bat.
Yep. You see Fernandez. He's got the stuff. I love his delivery, don't you? It's just nice and easy and fluid, and the ball just pops.
There's no max effort. It stuns you as a hitter because you're not anticipating the velocity that comes out of his hand because it is nice and smooth.
Here's Brian Shales, and this fastball goes outside. Shales hitting just .230 with a home run and 22 runs batted in. He's 3 for 8 in the series, and 2 of those 3 hits have been doubles. Fastball in there for a strike. Fastball from Fernandez so far, what we've seen on the radar gun is in the high 80s, low 90s.
He's going to pitch in that area. He can touch 92, 93 when he reaches back, but day in and day out, he's going to be 89 to 91.
That one outside. Now it's a changeup, and now it's 2-1 the count.
The development of a breaking ball is what separates him from really jumping up in classifications. He's got enough fastball. He's got a good changeup, but he's still got to develop his breaking ball and the confidence in that breaking ball.
Fouled straight back, and it's 2-2.
I thought that was coming in the booth with us.
I did too. Good thing there's a screen down there. Well, the dimensions here at Whitaker Bank Ballpark: 320 down the left field line, 401 to straightaway center, and just 318. Kind of a short right field, but they put a high wall out there. Makes it a little tougher. 2-2 pitch is up high. Now it's a full count, and that'll get Rodriguez moving.
Well, it's beautiful. You got the Pepsi party deck in right field. You'll see the wall go up, and all across that, folks out on the party deck having a good time.
And then that area there that we just kind of briefly showed you is called the stables. Why not? I mean, here in Kentucky, where everything revolves around horses. Swing and a miss, and down goes Shales. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Fernandez. That'll do it for the Grasshoppers. So the Legends come to bat when we come back. You're watching Sunday Night Showcase on ASN. No score as we head to the bottom of the first inning, and let's check out the Legends lineup. Corey Toops will lead things off and play second. Then Humberto Arteaga, the shortstop, at second, followed by Escalera, who we talked about in the open. Ryan O'Hearn, who's an All-Star, he'll be a starting first baseman in the All-Star game on the 23rd of July. He bats fourth and is a first baseman. Franco at third. Below is behind the plate. Downs, Dueñas, and Johnson, who is the DH here tonight after catching last night. The defense for Greensboro: Davis, Aper, and Norwood around the outfield. Shales and Twine on the left side. Cabrera and Rodriguez on the right. Vigil is behind the plate. Jorgen Cavanerio is the pitcher, and Kevin Randall, the manager of the Grasshoppers, talks about his starting pitcher.
Mr. Cavanerio, right-handed, lanky arm. You know, he's a command guy, 90-92, maybe pop a 93 on there. Breaking ball, and his best pitch is changeup. Keeps down the zone to swing and miss pitch. He's a pretty exciting arm.
So both pitchers featuring a good changeup. This is a different look, though, from Cavanerio, just in the physical stature. He's long and lanky.
Yeah, he's got that whip arm. You can see his whip at 1.39. He's allowed too many base runners, but he's not allowed it by walks. He's given up the base hits. He doesn't walk a lot of folks. He tries to keep the ball down in the strike zone. He does have an outstanding changeup. And as a hitter, if you can change speeds, rhythm and timing is hitting, and that's what you want to do with the changeup, is disrupt that.
Here's Corey Toops. That one almost hit him, and it's 1-1 to Toops. Toops was selected by the Royals in the 15th round of the June draft last year. Went to the Pioneer League, where he was an All-Star last year. Swinging a foul tip, and it's 1-2. He attended Sam Houston State. He was a teammate along with another Royals prospect who is on this team, Ryan O'Hearn. We'll see Ryan in just a few batters. He plays first base and will be heading to the All-Star game.
He does a nice job. He's 14-19 on the base pass, so he can create some havoc with his speed if he can find first base. Still trying to find himself a little bit as a hitter. When you look at the numbers, he's got the opportunity. He's got a quicker bat than people think, and he's got a little pop in his bat. If you're going to hit in the top of the lineup, you got to see more pitches, and you got to limit your strikeouts.
Omar Ramirez is managing in Lexington for the first year, and both of these managers also coach third base. You see that a lot in the low minors.
Anytime you take that foul tip off of your hand, catches maybe your thumb right there, you're always thinking, oh, now I got to catch that first pitch. I would always want to take a pitch from a pitcher and say, hey, throw me one. Let me feel what it's going to feel like when I catch it. That foul tip right off his thumb.
Swing and a miss by Toops, and down he goes. 1 up, 1 down for Cavanerio.
That's a good quick spin to the breaking ball right here. That's his breaking ball just died right at the end of the plate. It's actually a changeup, and that's a good one. Swing and miss. We talked about it. That was great motion with it right there. It had good sink to the changeup.
But now here is Humberto Arteaga, who is the shortstop. Arteaga, Venezuelan. He was drafted as a non-drafted free agent, signed in July of 2010, and he rips a single to left field. For a long time, Arteaga was the best defensive infielder. 2011, 2012, 2013. So it's the hitting that is one of those things that is the next part of the process for him in the minor leagues.
You're right, and you know he's working on that constantly. And he's got good speed. He can run the bases, so he can do some things if he can get on base. It's just about getting 90 feet down the first baseline.
All right, let's talk about Alfredo Escalera. Escalera was selected in the 8th round in 2012. He was born in '95, so that made him the youngest player drafted since the Major League Amateur Draft was established in 1965.
And you just look at his numbers. In each year, they've gotten better.
Ripped down the line, but foul.
I think where we're seeing the growth is the things that he's doing. His on-base percentage is up. He's doing a better job staying in the strike zone and swinging at strikes. You can see he got off to a little bit of a tough start. Had a good month of May. Boy, he's had an outstanding month. You can see in the last 28 games hitting almost 400. But he's always had good bat speed, Dave. It's about honing that skill to be able to use the bat speed at pitches within the strike zone.
That one's a little bit out of the strike zone. Well, Omar Ramirez is his manager, and he talks about this talented right fielder.
Well, Escalera is having a great year. He played here last year, and he's having a hell of a season so far. I don't know how long he's going to be here, but but that's what we're here for, you know, getting these guys better, and they go to the next level.
And that's exactly what he's hoping to do. He move on up from A to AA, et cetera, et cetera. Hit just 221 last year, Keith, but man, has he exploded, and he is 20 for his last 50 overall, hitting 400. Ripped again down the line, but just wide of the bag. Another foul ball. He is just ahead of that pitch.
Well, it's change up there, out in front of it a little bit, but you know, a lot of times organizations, you know, if you're the Royals, you're looking at, hey, this young man's had a really good first half. We'll let him go to the All-Star game, you know, get some recognition for that first half. And I would not be surprised right after that first half you see him take up a step up. But you want to allow young men who have gone out and really had a good first half to earn that accomplishment of playing in the All-Star game before you make a move with them.
And the 1-2 pitch. This one stays high, and it's 2-2. Escalera from Puerto Rico, although he went to high school in Bradenton, Florida. He played for the Pendleton School in Bradenton. And he said the experience was just a great one in high school because it gave him a chance to not only go to class, learn English a lot better, but also spend a lot of time honing his skills as a baseball player. And it's one of the reasons the Royals were so high on him and took him so early in the draft a couple of years ago. He wears number 21 because, like a lot of kids who grew up in Puerto Rico, they grew up idolizing Roberto Clemente.
He wasn't alone. The rest of us did too.
And like Clemente, he is a guy that's trying to do it right. Escalera was named the 2013 Mike Sweeney Award winner. It's the player in the Royals organization that best represents the organization both on and off the field. They're trying to keep Arteaga very close at first base, and with good reason. He has 13 stolen bases, only been caught 6 times. This one hit foul and just out of play.
Based on a study about that free taco from Taco Tico,
We're just seeing 6 pitches or 7 pitches now in this at bat. One of the things you like to see from a young hitter is his ability to see the ball. He's right on time with it. He's fighting off the tough pitches. In pitches that are mistakes, he's just pulled foul. So it's a good solid at bat, and he's grinding the at bat out here early in the game when you haven't seen a guy very often.
Another one fouled away. Well, this is a good at bat for Escalera.
We've seen the 2-seamer in. He's seen the best fastball that he has. He's seen the changeup 3 times. He's also seen a breaking ball. So he's seen a lot of pitches in this first at bat.
Keith, I've always felt like the more pitches a hitter hits, the more the advantage goes to the hitter.
Oh, no question about it. And his entire team. Your job is, especially as a young minor league player, you should be setting up and watch every pitch to everybody. If you're in the lineup and you're hitting 6th or 7th, what did he do to this guy? What did he do to this guy? Is he giving any pattern away?
Breaking ball, it stays too high. Now full count. Boy, Escalera has worked an 0-2 count into a full count with a really good, solid at bat.
And I think you got to send the runner here, too. What you'll do at the next level, you will always be in motion right here.
And there goes the runner, and this one lofted into right field. The wind is pushing it back to almost the warning track. Norwood had to go up and make an over-the-shoulder catch. Arteaga goes back to first.
Right. You can look at that breeze. We talked about it earlier today. I said, boy, this is a good day to hit. You get to the ballpark, any hitter that played professional baseball at any level knows, look at the flags. The flags are going straight out of here. It's a good day to hit. Watching batting practice, they were putting on a show.
It didn't look like Escalera got much of that. It looked like it was going to be a pop-up to right. Yeah. And boy, that thing carried almost to the warning track. And you know that Ryan O'Hearn is licking his chops right now. He is the leading home run hitter in the South Atlantic League with 14 home runs. Foul at the plate. O'Hearn hitting .260 with those 14 homers and 33 runs batted in. He'll be a starter in the All-Star game that'll be played in Asheville, North Carolina. 6 guys on this Legends team are in that All-Star game, and in fact 2 starters. O'Hearn is one, and Elier Hernandez, a right fielder, is another. Hernandez not playing so far tonight. Fastball up and away, delayed steal, and a good throw by Vigil to nail him at second base. So Arteaga tried a delayed steal, and he is out at second. That ends the first inning, and still no score.
Well, a really nice job of understanding the delay. What a great throw right there, right on time.
Well, we go to the second, and when it's warm like this, Pee-wee, the mascot, always has his tongue hanging out. This is the Sunday Showcase on the American Sports Network. And we are scoreless into the second thanks to this good throw by Rodrigo Vigil.
Vigil does a great job right there. You know, there are always coaches around, and then you have traveling instructors. There's a traveling catching instructor with the Marlins around, and I guarantee they're videoing a lot of these games. He will go back and say, that is exactly the footwork you need to throw, especially in a delay situation. Did a nice job with the rotation of his feet, got in good position, then right over the top. Knew he had time on a delay because he wasn't fooled by the delay. All those things very important to a young catcher.
Austin Smith goes after the first pitch, gives it a ride into left center field, picked up by Downs, and Smith will stop at first with a lead single. Smith is now 3 for 8 in the series, including a home run.
This is a beautiful swing right here. Setting on fastball first pitch. Got it. Didn't try to do too much with it. Stayed in the center of the diamond.
Second hit for the Grasshoppers, and now Justin Twine comes to the plate, hitting just a .188. Home run with 10 runs batted in. 1 for 8 so far in this series. And they're going to ask him to bunt on a fastball that goes high. Ball 1 to Twine.
What a day with this breeze. The outfielders playing extremely deep everywhere. This is one of those days where you look at each other as an outfielder, as an ex-big league outfielder, and say, we're going to play deep and cut across, try to cut the doubles down, because there's going to be a lot of balls get out of the ballpark today. If they're hit well in the air, they got a chance to go.
2-0 now, the count to Twine. Well, you can see those flags just whipping out towards right and right center.
This is really when you want to sit on one pitch in one spot as a young hitter.
And a perfect double play ball. Arteaga over to second for one on the relay, and plenty of time.
Sometimes you set on a fastball and you get it in your spot. You can't guide it, because he hit this ball about as good as you can hit it, but you just hit it right on the ground. And nice turn in the middle. Doing a nice job sitting down right here. This is tailor-made. Show the ball to your second baseman. Good feed, set, throw. Can't be done any better.
That's about as routine as it gets, and what a good turn by Toops at second.
You can't get involved as a runner right there. Smith did the right thing. Just get down. You can't get there to try to break it up. So you're better off just getting down, making sure you don't get hit with the ball coming across the diamond.
That's a pitcher's dream and a shortstop's dream, really, too, when you get one sharply hit right at you on a possible double play. There's a fastball in there for a strike to John Norwood. Norwood is 3 for 6 in this series, hitting .222 on the year. Way outside. 2-1 now, the count to Norwood.
When you look at Norwood, he's a guy that's got such great speed and arm strength. He's built to be an outfielder at the next level. Still got to improve in what swings he takes and counts there. It's a perfect example. You work to get a count, and you get to guessing.
Yep.
You get a 2-1 pitch, you're looking for something with firm in the middle of the strike zone. You got to let it go right there.
So that's a pitch he should have anticipated and should have been swinging on. Instead, he takes it. Now it's 2-2, and the pitcher has the advantage again, and that's his third strikeout. Pedro Fernandez gives up the lead single. That's a race and a double play, and then the strikeout. So we go to the bottom of the second, still no score. Well, everywhere you go around Whitaker Bank Ballpark, you see these mustaches. They're everywhere for the Lexington Legends. And Ashley Bullington is the third member of our broadcast team. Ashley, what's up with the mustaches?
Originally, when the team first started here in Lexington, the logo for the team was an L with a Tennessee used as the base. But 3 years ago, when they became a part of the Astros organization, they decided it was when they went from being a part of the Astros organization to being a part of the Royals minor league system, the team decided it was time for a rebranding. And with that, in the brainstorming, the think tank came up with the brilliant idea of using their mascot, Big L's mustache, as their new trademark logo. And mustache fever has taken over Lexington as well as the country. And I think I might have started a Twitter war recently. So, Dave, I must ask you a question.
Oh, yeah.
Who wears it better? The Cincinnati Reds, who are using the staple of the lip cap as their staple for the 86th for the 86th All-Star game, or the Lexington Legends, who have mustache merchandise across America? What do you think?
Well, I think you wear it well. Let's put it that way. I mean, you know, that looks good. Now, if we can get John Calipari to wear that, he really got something going. So, anyway, here we go to the bottom of the second inning. Ryan O'Hearn is leading off. Remember, he was at the plate when Arteaga was caught stealing to end that frame, and now O'Hearn strikes out to lead off the second.
Another outstanding changeup right there. Just a great job of changing speeds. Boy, when you can get that into your repertoire, it allows you as a pitcher to have such confidence that you can use that at any time. That was just a great changeup again right there.
Keith, you always see the right-handed pitchers, the changeup so successful, especially against the left-handed batters. What makes that pitch so successful?
Because they anticipate and see the ball out of his hands, and it's identically in the same location. You see the palm. Mm-hmm. Dave, a breaking ball, you obviously looks like a karate chop out of the pitcher's hand, but you see the palm. Palm always means fastball to the hitter. They've seen that their whole life, and all of a sudden you see the palm and the circle change comes out of it. You're out in front. You've committed. You've seen the arm speed, and you're over the top of it.
So your mind is already telling you fastball.
When you see that palm of the hand, I've got a fastball, but the ability to take something off of that it's a devastating pitch to a hitter. Yep. You've got to keep it down, but if you can keep it in the low part of the zone or even to the ground in that scenario, especially left-handers. Left-handers see that fastball from right-handed pitchers better than right-handed hitters do.
Well, here's Wander Franco, and he rips one down the line, but foul. That's that changeup, and right now the Legends batters are getting in front of that. Franco signed as a non-drafted free agent in 2011, a native of the Dominican Republic. He offered, didn't he? And that's another strikeout, the third for Cavanerio.
Both of these pitchers right now very much in control of the game. They're very calm. They're getting strike one, getting ahead of hitters, and then changing speeds. Then all of a sudden, let's mix in this breaking ball, the best breaking ball we've seen right there. That was a good one. Made it look like a strike as a hitter. You start forward, and right there, you could see him. Try to stop. That's going to be outside the zone, but you're already committed.
Now here's Chase Velo. He's hitting just .216 so far, but has 4 home runs, so a little pop in his bat. And there's a pitch up high, ball 1 to Velo.
Well, he's one of the top 20 prospects in the Kansas City organization. He is a 40th pick in the 2014 draft. He does everything defensively. His future lies in what he can do offensively. Mm-hmm. He's already pretty mature as a defensive player and understanding what he needs to do behind the plate, leading a ball club and handling a pitching staff. But for him, it's how he can mature behind the plate. I mean, that's already there. How he matures as a hitter is going to make the difference.
And down low. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Velo. Velo had a chance to go to Mississippi State, but instead signed with the Royals. Swing and a miss, and down he goes, and Cavanario strikes out the side in the second. So to the third we go, still scoreless. It's great to be here in the Legends Ballpark, and we invite you to check out the all-new website for the AmericanSportsNet.com. We have all new features, stories about schools and athletes that you care about. The all-new ASN website, AmericanSportsNet.com. And we're so happy to be here for the Sunday showcase. We go to the third inning on a warm night in Lexington. And leading things off for the Grasshoppers will be Ronnie Cabrera. He'll be followed by Ryan Aper, and then back to the top of the order, Mason Davis. Pedro Fernandez so far, I know you love to keep, Keith, first pitch strikes. He has only thrown 1 first pitch strike so far, but he's struck out 3 guys.
Well, what separates him is his ability to use his changeup. Strike one is not that important because he's got a put-away pitch and a pitch that hitters are anticipating fastball, and his changeup is so good he misses again there. So 1 out of the first 8 hitters that have come to the plate, usually that is such a key figure for me for a pitcher. Pitch ahead, attack the strike zone, but his changeup is so good that he's been able to pitch around it.
Fly ball into right field. And in comes the right fielder Escalera to make the grab near the line. 1 up, 1 down.
Being here in Lexington today, going out by the airport, seeing all the horse farms, everything that's going on. Obviously, we're going to have a big race here in town.
Yeah.
The Breeders' Cup is coming here. Could have the possibility of a Triple Crown winner running in the Breeders' Cup.
I'm just glad we have a Triple Crown winner. First time in 37 years.
Well, I was in Omaha playing in the College World Series the last time that I remember one, and that was Secretariat. And it was an incredible feat for what he did at the Belmont. But you go back and just look at all the minor league parks around the country. They have such a great feel to them. There's so much to do for all the fans that come in. And what a great town here. Rupp Arena, everything in Lexington, and this community really behind their ball club.
Ryan Aper is the batter, and he bounces 1 to second. Toops has got it on the high hop. 2 up, 2 down. You know, in this ballpark, kind of looks a little bit like a racetrack, doesn't it?
Oh, it does, because you obviously have the stalls, the barn out in right field, the party deck, and that field there. So much to do at the ballpark. You have seating areas, picnic areas down the left field line. Ballpark team came in. This is their 15th year.
There's the party deck, but they call that the stable.
The stables.
You know, this bit was built when baseball came back to Lexington in 2001. Baseball was gone from here for a long, long time. It ended in 1954, and they tried and tried and tried all the way back into the 80s, and then it took until an individual, Alan Stein, said, you know what, enough with the legislature. Let's just do this ourselves. That one off the glove of Fernandez, and now no play. That'll go as an infield single for Mason Davis.
Davis on a changeup there, caught it right off the end of the bat. Fernandez quite upset at himself that he didn't make that play. As he delivered the ball, he was falling to the first base side. And this is just a cue ball right off the end. A humpback little liner that he caught on the end of the bat. Actually, they're checking it there to see if it cut the ball up. And he just couldn't come up with the play. But now this is a real threat. Davis, one of those guys that just outside the top 20 prospects in the Marlins organization, but what he brings to the table is that great speed. Switch hitter. He's on now. I expect him to go early here.
He has 13 stolen bases, Keith. Vigil, the batter, he bounced out to third his first time up and just outside ball 1. Hey, by the way, when you came into the airport, you know, it's right by Keeneland Racetrack. Did you get a check?
I did. I couldn't help it. I've gone to the racetrack quite a bit in my life, and it was raced around horses and more quarter horses than thoroughbreds, but you couldn't help it. I mean, I've seen it in pictures and everything, and spent some time driving around it, and it's just a gorgeous location. It's huge rolling hills, green grass, and horses.
Oh, I loved it. I flew into Louisville, and then going by all the horse farms between Louisville and here. My
the Bluegrass Parkway you came in.
Oh, it was gorgeous. It's one of the first times I haven't gone above the speed limit. I was going below the speed limit because I just wanted to see everything.
I noticed that on the way over to the ballpark today. Slow down.
I know. I'm always in a hurry. There's a line drive to right. It almost hits the runner, Davis. And because of that, he can't go first to third. A base hit, though, by Vigil.
Second time through the order, nice adjustment by Vigil that time. Everybody's been out in front of the changeup. And this time he stays inside. That's what you do. The next time, too, all right, if he's going to get me out in front, I got to think the other way. I got to stay inside the ball. I can't think about getting out, pulling the ball. So I've got to stay inside. This is the first real threat of the ball game because a very good hitter coming to the plate.
Yeah, it is. Arturo Rodriguez. He singled his first time up. He's now 2 for 4 in the series. So 2 on, 2 out here in the third. First real scoring threat for either club. You know, we've been talking a lot about Lexington and this area. Can't wait to visit with Jim Gray, the mayor. He'll be joining us at the bottom half of this inning. A lot of exciting things going on here in Lexington, Kentucky.
Yeah, they had a Wounded Warriors softball game last night, 6,500 here in the stadium.
Foul ball out of play, a little late on that swing from Rodriguez.
Well, they missed with the breaking ball again. It's got him set up to go to the change, but you got to make sure you keep it down. Rodriguez is a guy that does stay on the ball. You talked about his open stance that first time up. Really closes back, does a nice job of getting his weight back and his transfer.
You see that more and more, that open stance and then close to the pitcher on the step.
Get both eyes on the pitcher.
Yeah.
But the one thing you can't do, Dave, is you can't go open to open.
No.
You got to go from open to close.
Right. The first guy that I saw that really did it, it was exaggerated, was Andres Galarraga.
When he was in, especially in Colorado.
Yes. This one hit well to right field, but playable for Escalera. The wind doesn't do anything to that. I thought it might carry it a little farther, but it doesn't. So big out there for Fernandez. And the Grasshoppers are gone. They strand 2 in the third. Oh, there's some of those horse farms we were talking about here in bluegrass country. Oh, it's beautiful. Still scoreless as we head to the bottom of the third. Well, here's some of that beautiful bluegrass country that we were coming by yesterday. Didn't see it from this view, though. Oh, my, isn't that gorgeous?
Oh, the red barns. And all the fencing. The fencing is so beautiful. You see the Colts in the bluegrass.
So to the bottom of the third we go. And the Legends will send up the bottom and third of the order against Cavenario, who's been tough so far.
Well, he's really done a nice job keeping the ball down with his fastball, mixing in a breaking ball and a change. He's done a nice job of establishing his changeup. Now the second time through the order, each time you look at that, you think, well, what are you going to do the second time? You have to change your pattern a little bit.
So as we go to the bottom of the third, we are joined by the mayor of Lexington, Jim Gray. Jim, welcome.
Hey, guys, good to see you.
Good to have you here. Boy,
it's great to be with you.
Thanks for hosting us here in Lexington. We've just had a wonderful time.
Now, when did y'all get to town?
Yesterday.
Awesome. Great. It hadn't been hot enough for you, though.
Well, it's all right to be a little bit hot.
It's got to be.
I can't get over the grass and the horse farms. Just driving around town and the outskirts of town. And what a beautiful location.
Well, obviously, we're proud of it. This year, fortunately, we've gotten some good rain, and so the horse farms and the bluegrass looks just great.
And it's a great year for horse racing with the Triple Crown.
Oh, my goodness. Is everybody happy around Lexington?
Yeah.
If y'all saw the paper, the newspaper today, our local paper, the Herald Leader, carried a story about the history of Pharaoh, and that history started right here in Lexington.
American Pharaoh, yeah, it was foaled right here, wasn't it?
That's right. You got
I
it.
hope he's back here for the Breeders' Cup.
Well, we're all hoping that. Yeah, there's a lot of fingers crossed on that, guys.
Yeah. Well, why not? So here's a fly ball on the first pitch to right field, 1 up, 1 down. Jim Gray, it's your second term as mayor now. What's happening in Lexington? Tell us what's going on in this community right now.
Well, a lot of good things going on in Lexington today. We're fortunate that Our economy is really stable today. We've got about a little over 4% unemployment, so that's good. People have got jobs. The University of Kentucky, of course, is doing great. When the UK does well, the city does well.
Yeah.
And,
doing
that
pretty
goes
well.
Doing pretty well. It goes across the board. Of course, we're always proud of our sports in Lexington, what y'all are calling right here. It's a big deal where the Legends plays into our sports, our full sports seasons. And so we're fortunate across the board.
Yes, absolutely. When you look at the Legends and the impact that a baseball team has on a community, because this community was without baseball for a couple of decades.
For a long time, yep. Beginning in 2001, the climate changed. It's now the 15th season. You all probably know all about that, but sitting here and watching it and see these fans and see the way that
the community's very much involved.
Oh, community loves, and this the Legends, the ownership of the Legends, Andy, Susan, they just do a remarkable job of outreaching the community. A big part of our community.
Jim Gray is our guest. He is the mayor here of Lexington. Oh. That one went behind the batter and actually hit the bat.
Well, that's a scary one right there. Just got away trying to get the fastball in. And you duck as a hitter. You're thinking, "Whoo, I'm glad I got out of the way of that." And then you look up, you got a strike. Almost knocked the bat out of his hand. So not only did you have to duck, get out of the way, you also got a strike on you.
That's a tough at bat. And down low, ball and 2 strikes. Jim, when you look at the climate here in Lexington, you say things are improving so much. A lot of that is the University of Kentucky and their success and national championships and all of that. But also, when you look at things, you've got it all going. National championships in basketball. You've got a Triple Crown winner in horse racing. And the Legends with the Royals affiliate now, how well they're doing.
It makes of course, it always brings a real spirit to the city. And, when our teams are winning, and even when they're not winning, but they're playing well, and know that they play well, then the spirit, it's uplifting, and people get up with a smile on their face.
Yeah, well, it's the American
sport. That's a big
deal.
deal.
It's so glad to have it back. I mean, 15 years. Took a long time for everybody to get on the same page and get baseball back here, but boy, isn't it great that it is.
Well, you look around, you see the families out tonight, and that just puts a smile on everybody's face. My brother will often say, it's like a Norman Rockwell painting coming out here.
It certainly is. Jim, thanks for your visit so much, and it's great to have you here.
Great to be with you
Wonderful
guys.
To be in your city,
Thank
Mayor.
you all for being here.
Thank you very much. That's Jim Gray. We'll be back to Lexington in just a moment. Well, that's the Sunday Showcase from Lexington, Kentucky tonight. And right now, the Grasshoppers and the Legends are knotted up in a pretty good pitcher's duel so far. Scoreless as we head to the 4th. 4 hits by the Grasshoppers. Fernandez able to work out of a jam in the 3rd. And he'll face Shales, Smith, and Twine here in the 4th.
Both these guys have really made good pitches when they needed to. And one of the growth things, that is a pitch right there that he's got to add to. When you're as far along as Fernandez is, one of the things you got to add to the mix is the ability to throw a slow breaking ball for a strike.
And a fastball up and in. Ball 1, 1-1 the count to Shales. Keith, you haven't been with us so far on the Sunday Showcase. So what you have missed are 2 great visits, one to El Paso, one to Myrtle Beach. But the other thing you've missed is great food. So I don't know about you, but I'm already starting to get a little bit hungry and wondering what our hosts are going to be bringing us.
I would agree. Now, when you're a bald-headed fat man, it's not, food is always a good part of it.
Oh, you bet. I hope it's hot dogs. We really haven't had.
How about nachos too? Hey, I could go for that too.
Why not? Why not? Well, we'll see what they have on the menu here for us tonight. Our hosts have always been so kind and bringing us some of the local flavor, and we'll see what they have in store for us here tonight. I know our crew always gets so jealous every time they start to see us munching down up here in the booth.
Well, sometimes we just can't get anything down at the truck.
Yeah, right. It's hard. It's a long way from here to there. 3-2 the count to Shales. Swing and a miss. And that's strikeout number 4 for Fernandez.
Back-to-back fastballs. Did a nice job right there. Reaches back. There are times when you need to reach back and find that little more, just that little more zip. And you can see him right there. Reach back, challenged him inside. Good location. Just never got on top of the fastball that time, but got it by him inside.
Shales has struck out twice now. So now here is Austin Smith to face Fernandez. Smith singled his first time up. He led off the second inning with a single.
Jumped on the first pitch fastball.
Let's see if he gets another one of those. Nope. Changeup to begin things, and strike one.
Smith, good on base percentage. Got an 851 OPS. In today's world, with all the numbers that are put together, that's one of the things that major league clubs are looking for. Like, what is his OPS? I mean, what can he do to produce runs? Does he get on base? Does he slug the ball? And that's a combination of both.
Well, on an 0-2 pitch.
I think the two biggest numbers that have changed in the last decade, maybe even 15 years, are the whip number, runners allowed per innings pitched for the pitchers, and then the OPS number. I think those are the two biggest things that farm directors, scouting directors are looking for from players.
And back-to-back strikeouts for Fernandez. He
That's
now
an
has
excellent
5.
change. Excellent change right there.
Folks, another Kroger strikeout going out
Really
there.
pulls the string in great location. See him right there. It's smooth, nice and easy. Described as a big horse, and we've seen that so far. You can see his numbers, 4-0, averaging more than a strikeout per inning. It's really cut down on his walks per 9 innings, only averaging about 3 per 9 innings, and improving that breaking ball is going to make a difference. He's got a whip coming into this game of 0.93.
Twine the batter, back-to-back strikeouts by Fernandez. 5 of those in the game, and this one hit sharply to Toops, and that'll do it. The Grasshoppers go 1-2-3 in the 4th. To the bottom of the 4th we go, still scoreless in Lexington. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning, still scoreless. In fact, Jorgen Cavanerio has faced the minimum number of Legend hitters through the first 3 innings. He gave up a single, but that batter was erased as he tried to steal second base on a delayed steal back in the first inning. So it's scoreless as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. And you look at the numbers so far on Cavanerio, and boy, he has just been outstanding. Hey, we're joined now in the booth by a former big leaguer, Doug Flynn. Doug, welcome to our booth.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Well, you know, I see this guy over here. It brings back good memories, and I remember our playing days. Bad memories because I don't know I was ever on a team that could beat a team he was on.
No, that wasn't necessarily so. I can tell you that. But I have to say, it's great to see you. Talk to us about your city.
You know, I love my city. I was born and raised here. My whole life, I grew up high school, went to college, University of Kentucky, signed to play out of a tryout camp. I think with all the beauty that you all have been talking about, this franchise, and when Alan Stein came here and said we're going to have minor league baseball, it has done something to rejuvenate the north side of town. But also, there's a lot of really good ball players in this town, and it kind of said, you know, if some of these guys, if we can have pro ball out here, maybe we've got a chance to make it in. So I think it's done so much for our city.
Well, it certainly has. You guys have something in common. You both played collegiately, and you both played 2 sports. He played football and baseball, and you played basketball and baseball.
Well, yeah, we did. I wasn't very good. He was good. I wasn't very good. But, you know, and he brought that same toughness to baseball, too. He was always fun to play against. And I saw Glenn Hubbard down there, kind of out of the same school.
Oh, yeah, no question.
You know, you learn to play the game the right way. And I look at these kids that are playing today, the size that they have, and just the ability. We didn't, and now they're learning from some guys who played it the right way. So it's going to carry them a long way.
You guys have minor league memories, I'm sure. How about those bus rides? You remember those the most, right?
Yeah, we do. We had some dandies in the Eastern League, and we both played in that league.
And we both played on the far ends, the north and the south.
That's right. So it was long hauls, but you know, you knew that at the end of the rainbow there was that pot of gold. So you kind of strive to get there. I don't know if Keith feels the same way. But, you know, pretty good hack right there, and
yeah, he did a nice job turning on an inside fastball. It's one of the things when a guy's got a good changeup, you're vulnerable for that inside fastball.
And he's got, you know, I heard you talking about these kids that are throwing, and everybody seems to throw 90 anymore.
Yeah.
You know, if you were through 90 back when we played,
no doubt,
you had a pretty good fastball, and now 90 is or 92 is the new
norm.
88, right?
Yeah, that's the norm.
Of course, you were with the Big Red Machine for a long time. And what was it like playing with for Sparky?
Sparky was wonderful. Sparky was really an older player's manager, though. And so I was kind of surprised when I made the ball club. But I made it because I had a really good spring. They didn't have a third baseman. They were running John Vukovic in there a little bit. And then finally they tried me a couple of times, Danny Dreesen, and realized, all right, we need somebody more solid. So they went and brought Pete in from left field, moved George Foster out in the outfield. And I was a utility player on that team, and I got to watch some of the best, smartest baseball that I have ever seen. These guys had IQs on the field that were just off the charts. And you know, Keith, you played against us a lot, and you saw the way those guys played. But
and you said we couldn't beat them? That was a machine. That was a machine.
The first 2 years was pretty good, and then I get traded over to New York and started having to earn it a little bit more.
Yeah. Escalera, the batter, had a great at-bat the first time and saw a lot of pitches, so we'll see if that pays off here with the infield in now and a runner at third and just one out. And a real scoring opportunity for the Legends.
Shows you a little bit, Dave, about what each manager thinks at this point of the ballgame. You get a leadoff double, bunt him up.
Yeah.
Infield comes up in the bottom of the fourth inning. So both pitchers dominating the game to this point.
Let me tell you something, Keith, and just between you and me, is it a lost art down the big leagues to move that runner over when you got a guy on second and less than 2 outs?
And it is without the bunt. We used to do it, and we're told to do it.
Just hit it to the right side.
Yeah. Hit it to the right side.
You could do that. As a right-handed hitter, you could do that. But it seemed like, I mean, it was just, you didn't look for a sign. Man on second, no outs. You went up, and you just hit a ground ball to second or hit one to right field. It seems to be a lost art in the big leagues, or maybe they just don't work on it, or maybe it's just a game where stats are a lot more important than the fundamentals used to be.
It's almost like the managers are saying, look, I just want to get him to third. Yeah. However we do it, if we have to give up an out to do it, just make sure we do it. Whereas in your day, you're right. You guys were just expected to hit that ball to the right side.
I call it offensive baseball. I mean, it's almost like separated like you do in the other sports.
Right.
You got to be a good offensive player. That doesn't mean you have to hit 350 to be a good offensive player. Move the runner, drive the runner in from third right there. That's a big at-bat. You have to learn and understand that my job here is not to get a base hit. It's to score the guy from third base.
Exactly. And there's a lot of ways to do that when you got him on third base. So, you know, just a ground ball sometimes. You know, we used to do a lot. You'd have a guy on third or maybe first too. They'd put on a hit and run. And just so you could put the ball in play with guys that they knew could handle the bat. And, you know, there were a lot of two-strike hitting back in those days. And I think some of the guys today have been watching maybe a little bit too much TV, but the good news is, could you ever have dreamed of being a minor league ball player and playing a game on national television?
Well, you see it on national television in ballparks like this, where there are 6,000 people in the stands and great food and people behind and communities behind their teams. What a great... I know this has been here 15 years, but it doesn't look it.
You know, and it's true, and they have continued to draw. And one of the reasons is I'm so proud of these guys, with what Andy Shea's doing now, Alan Stein before him, and Redmond before him. All these guys take a lot of pride. They're baseball fans.
Oh, stop,
my
Doug.
goodness.
I'm sorry, but, you know, it's time for food.
Wow.
What do
I'll hold this while you
Gary,
guys
what do you
eat.
have here? Gary, what do you have here for us? Oh, there's a hot dog.
First
Barbecue
of all,
hot dog.
there's two things amazing about this. One is Gary Durbin is not on a golf course. And the second
taking
thing,
money from you.
And then the second is he hadn't already eaten part of this on the way up here.
Look at that chicken right there. And
Gary, come on in here.
This is the
Everybody
barbecue
wants to
hot
see it.
dog right
America
there.
wants to see
Pickles
you.
all over it.
We just want to thank you for this. This is great.
Well, Doug, you look great. Obviously, you're not partaking in this on a regular basis.
Well, I'm just wearing bigger clothes now. And I tell you, with Gary here, it's easy for me to say what a wonderful job and what this franchise and this ballpark has meant to our community. So, Gary, hats off to you and all the folks here for doing a great job.
Doug, can you stick around for a little bit?
Sure.
Now, if there's food here, I know you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all right. We'll be back in just a second. Well, we've got a busy week on the American Sports Network. Coming up on Saturday, June the 20th, the North All-Stars will take on the South All-Stars in the Florida State League. So we'll be in Port St. Lucie for that. And, of course, one of the key players that we'll be focused on is Jeff McNeil, 12th round pick by the Mets in 2012 and already hitting .332 this year, and even better than that against left-handed pitchers. So we'll look forward to that. Right now, we're enjoying our conversation with former big leaguer Doug Flynn. And while you guys talk, I think it's time for me to eat a little bit. I've been just salivating over this after this hot dog, this barbecue hot dog with pickles, looks like some coleslaw, barbecue, all that. So you guys...
You look famished too, Dave.
Yeah,
I think you ought to have a little bit.
So I've got to do this. All right.
Well, you know, you two guys have been in the broadcast business a long time, and when you get a chance to come out here and watch some of these kids that are striving to get to where we were blessed to get, it just gives you a feeling of, and I think when I was playing, I didn't really appreciate it as much as I do now when I look back on it.
But you do remember that the thing that I remember, and then I would like to express to some of these kids when you sit and talk to them, is it's a hard game to play.
Yeah.
It's overcoming failure. You want to get better, and don't do it on a multiple situation.
Exactly.
You're not going to get there, but you got to understand there are going to be times when you're going to fail.
That's exactly right. Well, that's part of the game. And, of course, when you're even good, you're failing 7 out of 10 times.
Well, they're in the Hall of Fame.
I told him, I said, I don't know how long I can milk this 238 batting average, those 2 world championships, but I'm going to try it as long as I can.
Speaking of good,
Secretary is right there.
this is unbelievably good.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Look
really
at that. You got a little barbecue on the
Did he
pickle?
just bring this for you, or is that kind of for all
Well,
of us?
I'm not sharing it. I'll say that.
we noticed that.
Yeah, I
We
noticed
figured
that.
that out right away, didn't we?
All right, I want to ask you guys a question before I go back to eating. And that is, explain the moment you got the call that you're going from the minor leagues to the big leagues. What was that like for you, Doug?
Well, for me, I went to spring training in 74 for 2 weeks. They sent me down, they called me up to play in a lot of the ball games. 75, after my AAA year, I went to big league camp. And while I was there, I just started hitting, which really never happened again. But I went 32 for 90 in spring training. I got a lot of at-bats. And so when we broke camp, actually, Steve Hamilton was a gentleman who told me that I had made the club. Sparky never said it. And I made it, and then one time during the season, Pete came up to me and said, Doug, you're starting against Montreal. We were in Jerry Park. If you don't get a hit or have a good game, we're going to send you down. And I saw Gary Carter was catching. I said, hey, Gary, if I don't have a good game, they're going to send me out of here. And he said, all right, breaking ball in. And it was.
That's a guy helping another guy out.
He said, we got to help each other stay in the game a little bit. There was nobody on base, and then he said, all right, fastball away.
Oh, my
I don't think I've ever told this on TV.
Don't make sure you didn't take him out of the park.
That's right.
Just keep it in the park.
So I hit one little flare down the right field line, got a base hit. So I get up the next time, and I say, hey, kid, you know, another hit would really help. And he said, you're on your own. So, and Dave McNally started me with a breaking ball the first time. He threw me another one. I got another base hit, and not a word was said to me, so I stayed.
Yeah.
So it was amazing, but it was a thrill. How about you?
Well, mine was the September call-up. So it's one of those things where I had a really good year in AAA, and you get down to the end of the year, and you've seen that happen before. And the Phillies and the Reds at the time, I was with the Phillies. The Phillies and the Reds were the best 2 teams in the National League. The Phillies, we never could get over the hump until 1980. With the Reds, but you know, you knew they were going into the playoffs in '77.
Because you stole our boy. You stole Pete from us.
I tell you what a great teammate. I know there's a lot of things to talk about with Pete, but great guy to play with. But getting that call at the end of the season, we were in Evansville. I was in the American Association playing in Oklahoma City, and the manager comes over to you and says, all right, tomorrow's our last game of the season. Here's an airplane ticket. You're going to San Francisco. That's where the Phillies are. So you know you're going to the big leagues and playing Candlestick Park, the worst ballpark in the history.
Oh, that's right. It was. But you can remember the
which
day.
makes Willie Mays even greater, right?
Absolutely.
You know, when you think of what he did in his career in a really horrible ballpark, to hit in, to field in with the wind and everything that he might be one of the, not one of the greatest, he might be the greatest player.
No doubt in your mind, because that's a place when you looked on your schedule, you just start saying, all right.
0 for 12.
That's an 0 for in my area.
That's 0 for 12.
I kind of had several of those on the road, too. See, we're going to Houston. We got JR and Nolan. And see, all right, there's
Roberts, okay.
Yeah, all right, it's
Larry
out here.
Gerger.
You're not supposed to have negative thoughts.
Yeah, well, that's easy to say up here. And you know what amazes me, too? The higher you get up in this game, the easier it seems to get. Because all of a sudden you get down on that field level and you realize how fast the game is really going. And I write on my scorebook when I go do these ball games, it says, the game ain't that easy, just as a reminder.
Right. They always say the farther you get away from the dirt, the easier it looks.
True.
And I think that's absolutely true. What I would love, and there's no way to do this in a baseball experience, but I would love for the fans to just stand in the batter's box and just watch a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. I guarantee you'd have a greater appreciation for anybody who can hit.
That's
because it is a real hard, just to see it, how fast it is when you're right there in that box. It's incredible.
Well, it is, and now, as Keith was saying, 90 is just kind of the norm. When we had guys that were throwing in low 90s to mid 90s, I mean, that was something special. And now,
those guys are closing ball games.
That's right. That's exactly right. And there weren't, a lot of them. I mean, what Maddox throw? 86, 87, 88.
Great command.
With great command, and it shows you that it can still be done. I mean, but that's why you're here in Class A ball. You're trying to learn how to pitch, and with the coaching and all the instruction that you're getting, these kids have such a great opportunity. You just hope they don't mess it up.
Yeah, absolutely. We obviously have a pitching change right now, which gives us more of an opportunity to visit with Doug Flynn, who also does some broadcasting. You've brought so much energy here to Lexington. You've got a million things going on, including a fishing show.
I can't hold a job.
Or too many jobs.
Or too many jobs. I got a great job with Central Bank here in town. It's a locally owned independent bank, and they asked me to go to work 18 years ago. I was managing in the minor leagues, actually. So I did that, and then from that, I'm doing a show in Cincinnati called Reds Weekly, which comes on once a week. Doing some broadcasting of minor league games over on another station. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but everybody knows we're here promoting minor league baseball. Right. That's what we're doing. And doing that every Thursday night, which is certainly a lot of fun. I got a fishing show on the radio. So it's just, at 64, I'm having a good time.
And it's a family affair because your dad's working here.
My dad is the greatest. My dad, 88 years of age, and he was, years ago in the 1940s, they had an all-black team in Lexington called the Lexington Hustlers. My dad was the only white player on that team, and I said, how did that happen? He said, they needed a second baseman. I wanted to play with the best team in town, and so I went out, and then also a part of that team was Lou Johnson, Bill White. So some guys from the service were coming in and playing, and from what I understand, they dominated.
Doug, one of the differences that I like to talk about and look back at and what we see now is when a young player commits to the game, it's a wonderful thing to watch their growth and the maturation and how they go through the line. But before that, from 12 to 18, we're losing 50 to 70% of the kids that play the game up through 12 years old.
Right.
What do we have to do to get? It's a game that's been my life. I know it's been a major part of your life.
Really? No, you're
How
absolutely
do we get
right.
there?
Well, I think there's a couple of ways. One of the things I'm seeing a lot of is who was the first person I threw a ball with? It was my dad. Later, my mom, who was a very good player. But my dad took me out. He played, so I threw. And I think there's a lot of fathers today, either because of work or, with the breakup of the home or whatever, they're not there to make that first toss with their kid.
Yeah.
And I think that's got a lot to do with it. Plus, look at the stuff they've got. They can go play a real ball game on a computer. We had to go play it out in the sand lot somewhere.
Yeah, in the heat.
In the heat.
Every day.
We would look for a place to play, and now they can go and almost have that virtual reality of playing a game without even going outside. And I think you got to find a way to get them away from that and let them know how. Keith, I mean, the minimum when I came up, what was the minimum?
Put nails in bat.
Oh, yeah.
Ground ball through the hole on the left side. Back-to-back hits and runners now at the corners, and another threat for Greensboro.
Your minimum was what? When your first year?
16.
16.5. 16.5. The minimum today is $500,000.
Yeah.
And I've got kids today that say, so would you like to still be playing? Duh.
Right.
I mean, it took me a whole bunch of years to get up to the point where the minimum is now. So it's not about the money, but it's a great living. And you hate to see the kids with the talent that are throwing it away through some other means, whether it be through drugs or just a non-commitment. Man, wait till they tear that uniform off, because at some point in time, if you can't play, somebody will tell you.
They're going to take it away from you.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, that's right. Doug Flynn's our guest, of course, longtime big leaguer with the Reds and other teams, and been on part of those back-to-back world championships in the 70s with the Big Red Machine, and still a big part of that. In fact, Johnny Bench is going to come here to Lexington to help you host a golf tournament. Right?
That's exactly right. Next week we'll do a tournament. It'll be our 35th year with the golf tournament. We'll give back from last year's tournament over $500,000 to Central Kentucky kids. We'll bring in 50 celebrities and have an opportunity here just to really celebrate Lexington and do it by way of golf, and also help some needy charities. So I'm excited about that. And Johnny and I are also involved in 3 different military charities that we go out and raise money for. So it's, I just feel like I've been blessed, and just being able to give a little bit back has been, it's been fun, but it's also, I feel like it's a duty as well.
Well, a little trouble here now. 3-0 the count with runners at first and third.
You know what they do on this field, too? They'll play the state high school baseball championships here at this ballpark. Can you imagine as a high school kid walking in here and getting to play on a facility like this?
Incredible.
And, you know, it's a packed crowd.
Oh, yeah. They have good crowds here, and I think they have, as long as they've been in 15 years, have been in the top 5 or 10 as far as attendance. And I know last night was a sellout, and they honored some military guys. And then tonight, I believe you all are doing the first night game this year, or Sunday night game, because I believe normally they play in the daytime.
Yeah.
So it's quite a thrill and quite an honor to have you all in our town.
Well, it's terrific to be here, and we love this Sunday night showcase to look at some of the guys, the future stars of the game, really. As we look at the showcase, we're showcasing those young players that want to have that same dream that you guys enjoyed, and that is to play in the big leagues. I mean, it's an honor. I think anybody who ever spends even a day in a big league uniform, it's just such a great honor for that. I mean, it's one thing I dreamt of doing and realized that at that age of 12 to 14, Keith, you were asking, why are so many guys leaving the game? It's easy. I couldn't play anymore. I mean,
well, but we still, you know, the quarterbacks and point guards,
yeah,
you know,
you're right.
the ones that
That's
are good
right.
athletes, and we need to keep guys involved in the game and get the experience of coming to the ballpark and see that excitement all across and get them playing in high school, because we're seeing the ability now with video and everything else in the techniques and the teaching that's around the game. We're seeing guys get much better than we had. What we learned ourselves a lot of the times.
Yeah.
You know, where now they have techniques and ideas in the video. You can watch a pitcher at any level of what he's going to try to do in his delivery and see the ball come out of his hand.
But Keith, you can even watch your own swing. Like, that's something you guys didn't have the advantage of doing.
No video. There was no tape.
If you had something wrong with your batting stance or swing, you just had to figure it out.
Right.
Now they can go to the video and say, well, I need to change this.
Stay back. Hit it out in front. Well, okay, what's that mean? I don't know. You know, we'll figure it out.
Little chopper out to short. High hop, but plenty of time, and that will do it. So, Doug, thanks so much for stopping by. Yeah, all the best to you.
Appreciate you all being here.
Yeah,
Great to see you, buddy.
Good to see these guys have a little reunion, and now back to eating for me. Still scoreless. Minor League Baseball Sunday Showcase on the American Sports Network is brought to you by CoCareers.com. Well, it was really great getting caught up with Doug Flynn, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely it was. And I'm trying to catch up with you.
I know.
Nice hot dog. The nachos were outstanding.
Snarfing down the dog while you had some nachos.
I had some nachos. They were wonderful. The chicken was delicious.
Yeah, we can't thank Gary Durbin enough for the free food up here. At least I think it's free. It'll probably come out of our per diem somehow, but yeah, it was terrific stuff. You know, Gary Durbin is the operations manager, executive vice president of the Lexington Legends, who right now are happy to be still in this ball game, not once but twice. Arturo Rodriguez had a real opportunity to do some damage for the Grasshoppers, left two guys on in the third, and then just left them loaded in the top half of the fifth. So here's Franco to lead things off in the bottom of the fifth inning, and that's a foul ball, and the count is 1-1.
Anytime you sort of dodge that bullet, as the Legends have done to this point, a lot of times that ignites you offensively. It's this part of the ball game that you know, you can scratch one out. You really feel like you got control of the game because you've dodged so many opportunities early in the game.
Meanwhile, Cavanerio has just been electric, and Omar Ramirez saying, we got to figure this guy out sometime. And 7 strikeouts through 4 innings for Cavanerio. 2 balls, 2 strikes here to Franco, who was one of those strikeout victims back in the second.
Well, scouts don't like to use the word plus very often, but he's got a plus changeup, at least tonight.
Mm-hmm. And there's a sharp hit ball to the third baseman, Shales. 1 up, 1 down here in the fifth.
You can see Shales doing a nice job. Ball hit crisply to his left. Really nice mechanics there. That's the other thing. You get instruction and teaching inside step. When you go to your left as a third baseman or any infielder, you've got to get inside the ball where you can square your throw to first base. If not, your elbow sinks and you have the tailing ball. It does a really nice job with footwork.
So you want to center the ball, but if anything, you want to make sure that you have the angle to make the throw as quickly as possible.
Shoulders are so important.
Interesting.
Good fielders have good feet.
There's a line drive to left field, and Davis hardly had to move. 2 up, 2 quickly down here in the 5th.
Nice job with pitch count.
Man.
He's just attacked the strike zone. This has been a brilliant start.
He really has. His last start, he went 6 2/3 innings, giving up 2 runs on 6 hits. So far in this one, just 2 hits for the Legends. And when you look at his manager, Kevin Randall, he's got to be thrilled with what he's seen so far out of Cavanerio as he's keeping that pitch count, and he's keeping it pretty low despite 7 strikeouts. Brandon Downs is the batter. Downs hit a fly ball to right field his first time up and waves at a fastball, strike 1.
There's so many things that are going on in a minor league game. Also, as a manager, you're playing against your opposing team. You're also the scout. You're the eyes for your parent club on who you might want somewhere down the line. So they'll take speeds on a guy going to first base, watch him take infield, see what his power's like, watch his throwing arm, because they'll fill out a chart at the end of every one of these games about the opponent's team, just like they will their own team. I think that's a stopwatch more than a pitch count.
Yeah, it is. You're right.
He's trying to see what the speed down to first base for Downs. And always so many players out there with each organization. And every parent club is trying to get the best 25 they can find.
Services Center to learn more about our Legends Booster Club.
Breaking ball that stays high.
I always talk to kids and say, it doesn't matter who's ahead of you. If you're a minor league player, you know, you may have a great player in the big leagues ahead of you. It's your position. That doesn't matter. You go play hard and see whatever, because there's other clubs out there always watching all the time. They have a complete divisions in their scouting department just called Pro Scouting Division.
Foul ball out of play. When you look at Cavanerio, and I've got him for 7 strikeouts. I might be wrong. I missed a batter or 2 while we were eating and talking, but reached out and fouls this one behind the plate. And you see some of those scouts in the stands from all these different ball clubs. They're all here to see, well, if somebody slips through the cracks, could we go get them?
That's exactly right. And plus the amateur draft it's just been completed. So guys that have been working on amateur players for the first time player draft, which was early this week on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And now a lot of those guys will move over into the pro division and watch all the different levels of professional ball through the 1st of September.
See the Royals scout there. And, of course, keeping track on all these guys from the Legends. And right now, not much hitting going on for the Legends tonight. And we have played 5 innings in a scoreless battle in Lexington.
Folks, we cross over to the
We welcome you back to Whitaker Bank Ballpark in Lexington, Kentucky. We haven't caught up with Ashley Bullington in a while. I wonder where she's at. It looks like you're down the left field line. What's going on, Ashley?
There was some kids out here by the bullpen, but hi guys, like Keith and Doug touched on earlier, the players on the field were once kids like these in the stands dreaming to have their opportunity to play in the professionals. And though the MILB is the journey to the big leagues, the players are still professionals. And the Legends organization gives their players the opportunity to put their stamp on the next generation. By giving them the opportunity to go and serve in the community. The guys do everything from building houses to playing in Miracle Leagues to, like they did yesterday, coaching a Little League clinic in Danville, Kentucky, getting their opportunity to put their stamp on the next generation. Back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Ashley. Out at first base.
Argundo does a nice job, David, finding the baseball. We have a shadow right now. It's a great picture right there. And it's not only hard for the hitter to see, but so many times it's hard for the pitcher to see the ball come back off of the bat. He did a nice job of knocking that shot down and finding a way to find the baseball and getting an out right there.
Boy, that's a terrific play. Now Austin Smith, down and in, ball one. Let's look at it again.
Well, he just gets to the ball quickly, doesn't panic, and I mean, that's a half a step. Nice call right there. But that's one as a hitter you go, man, I hit a ball that well. This guy knocks it down. I got good speed, still got me.
Fastball in there for a strike. Fastball at 87.
Best pitch is a breaking ball. He has to spot the fastball in and out, keep it down. He's got a big-time bender.
Emilio Agondo, picked up in the 12th round of last year's draft. Chopper. Tough play. And no play now. Arteaga tried to come in and get it on the short hop and went by his glove. Franco picked it up, but no play on Smith. That would be his infield single for Smith.
Well, you have one way to approach this. You know you're going to get a short hop. You just try to go down and do the best you can to try to guess the hop. You can see him sweep at it, try to guess if it's going to stay down, because the only way to get an out is him pick it right there. Without it, you're not. If you lay back, he's going to be safe.
Right. Yep, had to go for it.
You got to give him a base hit.
Yep. Twine's now the batter. He's 0 for 2 in the game. And waves it one up above the letters. Strike one to Twine. Well, Greensboro comes in at 25-37. They've lost the first 2 games of this series. These guys will play again tomorrow night. In fact, the Grasshoppers have lost 3 in a row now overall.
That's his best pitch right there. He stayed up a little bit that time, but the best one's when he drops that pitch on the right back foot of a right-handed hitter. You just chase it the entire time as a hitter. You see it. You just can't catch up to it.
You know, and if you're a lefty, there's strike 3 called.
That's a good mix of pitches.
If you
fastball,
can control
ball,
thing, yeah, if you can control it, there's always a spot for you as a left-handed reliever.
Well, and you can play a long time.
That's right.
You can stay in the game a long time, especially if you can get left-handers out. But that was a good mix right there. You catch a hitter thinking about your breaking ball. That's when you have a good one, they start thinking about it, then your fastball is good enough to just get by you before you're looking for it. And that's all set up with that pitch right there. Now the rest of the at-bat, as a hitter, you're thinking, boy, if you're John Norwood, I got a chance to see that pitch over and over again, and then the fastball gets by you.
So when you have a curveball that good, then the fastball that's 87 looks 94.
Or maybe 96.
Yeah.
Because your first instinct is to say, all right, I'm going to see this big sweeping breaking ball that has great depth and width. I mean, it's breaking 2 feet into me and 2 feet down, so it's got this great depth. So I'm looking for that pitch, and then the fastball's just by you.
That's the art of pitching, too. It's not always about throwing it hard. It's about putting it in a spot you want to put it in and keeping a hitter off balance.
Well, I've heard good pitchers talk about it's like selling real estate. Location, location, location.
That's right. The 0-2 pitch to Norwood. Hit on the ground. Arteaga, much easier play this time, and that'll do it for the Grasshoppers. So we go to the bottom of the 6th, still scoreless in Lexington. Already thinking ahead to the drive back to the airport on the Sunday showcase and seeing all this absolutely beautiful scenery. And there's a young.
Curious.
Cole.
Watch his ears, Dave. No, I'm curious. No, I'm not sure what that is. And he goes back and forth, doesn't he?
Just a little pony, a guy that may be running around a track here.
Yeah, you're right. I wasn't sure about that camera, though. You can tell that.
Of course, everybody here in Kentucky is still celebrating American Pharoah, Triple Crown winner, first time in 37 years, and all hopes remain that he'll be running at Keeneland later on this year. Man, going for a bunt hit here. Why not? Try something. Samir Dueñas is the batter. And so far, these legends have had a tough time figuring out Cavanerio, who has just been electric, allowing just 2 hits so far in the game.
Dominant.
Pulled down the line. Good play by Rodriguez, and the toss to the pitcher in time. 1 up, 1 down.
Rodriguez, a catcher by trade, but if you can play multiple positions, as we talked about in the open, it sure helps you to move up the ladder when you can hit. Did a nice job giving a little ground, reaches out, nice soft hands, finds his pitcher, good throw. That was a nice play. Not as easy as he made it look right there, I guarantee you.
Let's talk a little bit about Chad Johnson, because he is a kid that, you know, the Royals are certainly very high on. Picked up in the 5th round of the 2012 draft. He could have gone to Illinois State, but he signed with the Royals instead. He spent all last year with Lexington, hit .233, and just coming off the DL.
Injured, missed almost 9 weeks of the season, so it's hard to get your swing back. He plays a position. He's a catcher. I mean, you're a catcher, a left-handed hitting catcher. It's the first thing that jumps off the page to all pro scouts is the fact that he hits from the left side, and I believe he's going to develop some power. Still learning to hit that particular pitch right there. You can see the difference of him trying to get to that inside fastball.
All right, here's Chad Johnson, and here's his story with the Legends, picked up, as I mentioned, in the 5th round of the 2012 draft, and what he has done in just 12 games because he was on the DL for so long. And here he's going to go down swinging. So Chad Johnson is now the 9th strikeout victim of Cavanerio.
It's just an outstanding changeup again. He's got great movement to it, great arm speed with his fastball and his changeup. It's been an impressive outing. Much more mature as a pitcher than you would led to believe before you saw him in person.
And there's that changeup that again looks like a fastball.
Swing and a miss changeup.
Yeah, that's a plus changeup, wouldn't you say?
Oh, no question.
Yeah.
And you don't use that term. I mean, scouts don't use that term, but it's definitely a plus changeup.
Corey Toops, one of the 2 hits for the Legends. He has a double. The best scoring opportunity by far by the Legends, the only scoring opportunity really, was when he doubled to lead off the 4th, was sacrificed over to 3rd, but then back-to-back strikeouts of Escalera and O'Hearn, and that ended that threat. And now 3-0 to Toops. I'm going to go back to something you said earlier, Keith, in regards to Chad Johnson. I mean, obviously in this Royals organization, you're a catcher, young catcher, and you're looking ahead to the big leagues, and they've got a really good one in Kansas City, and a young one, and a guy that's probably going to be there for a long time. But if you're Chad Johnson, you can't get caught up in all that.
No, all I can do is go out and do my job. Somebody else is going to want me.
And Toops now 2 for 3. He has 2 of the 3 hits for the Legends.
And the other part about that, you never know when the Royals maybe need to make a move, and you're involved in a move that may get you right to the right on the cusp of the big leagues.
That's right. Again, we pointed out all those scouts over here. They're always looking because, trust me, when a general manager picks up that phone, they're always looking for those minor league guys that they can steal sort of from other teams. And
they've got an idea when they pick up that they've got to deal with whatever team's out there. They know the top prospects for that other team. No question.
This one drilled into left center field. That'll drop for a hit. Station to station goes Toops, and Arteaga has his 2nd hit. So the top 2 guys have all 4 hits for the Legends.
This is another 2-out opportunity. Escalera, we highlighted him at the beginning of the show, he's been one of the best players in the South Atlantic League all season long. This is his third opportunity to get it done.
Well, Escalera comes from a baseball family. His uncle Nino, he played for the Reds in 1954, later scouted with the Giants, and then he has a cousin, Ruben, who played in both Milwaukee and Cincinnati organizations and then served as an instructor in the Oakland system. So he comes from a baseball background, a baseball family. It's in his blood. And Escalera comes up right now with 2 on and 2 out and a chance here in the 6th inning to give the Legends a lead.
Starts him out with a change. Just watch the pattern of pitches here. Change speeds on the first one. Usually the combo is to come back inside, try to crowd him with a fastball here.
And there's another change.
Yeah, back-to-back change-ups.
Changes that are strikes. Now what do you do if you're the hitter? Now you're really playing defense.
I'm looking change in the dirt then now.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're brave enough to come right back to it, try to get a swing and a miss downstairs.
And that's exactly what it was, and Escalera was waiting for it. He drills it into left field for a base hit, and Toops will score. Not only Toops, but Arteaga as well. A 2-run double by Escalera.
Well, that's the adjustment of a good hitter. Yes, he got 2 change-ups, and then the third one, this was not a strike. Folks did a nice job right here, going down and raking this pitch. Not low enough, but just high enough that Escalera could get the barrel on it. Boy, he did get the barrel on it down the line right here. Misplayed in the outfield. That led to a 2nd run.
Well, Keith, he was thinking along the same lines as you were. He was thinking, all right, he's just throwing me 2 changeups. He's going to try to bury another changeup, and he didn't bury it enough.
He didn't get it down. Missed about shin high. And good hitters are still going to hit that pitch.
Well, they'll give him a double on the play, but only 1 RBI as another run scored on an error. But still, it's a 2-0 lead for the Legends. And right now, if you're on the Grasshoppers team, you're thinking, man, if we missed all these golden opportunities, these guys really haven't had much going at all. And all this started with 2 out and nobody on. And now O'Hearn, he waves at a pitch, and it's 0-2 on O'Hearn, who has struck out twice so far in this game.
You look out there on the mound and you think, man, what a good outing. It's been wasted to this point now, trailing 2-0. Good piece of hitting.
Still 2 strikes. Funny game, isn't it? I mean, really, you thought the Grasshoppers were the ones, Keith, with all the opportunities in this game.
Nobody said it was going to be fair.
And then 2 out and nobody on. You think, well, this is going to be another one of those innings for the Legends where they just can't get anything going.
That's what Doug and I were talking about. It's so humbling. The game of baseball is so hard to play, and it's so humbling that that's another part of the growth and the maceration of these young players is how do you overcome that? What do I need to do the next time I'm in this scenario where I have a better opportunity to win?
James Bucklew is warming up right now for the Grasshoppers, and all this coming with 2 out and nobody on. Cabanero was sailing along until now. Fastball outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes to O'Hearn. Yeah, we told you about O'Hearn, named the Pioneer League MVP, Idaho Falls Player of the Year in last year. He led all minor leaguers in the Royal system last year in average with a .361 batting average. He was ranked by Baseball America the 5th best prospect in the Pioneer League. Guy who went to Sam Houston State University, and of course he and Corey Toops were teammates there. Swing and a miss, and O'Hearn strikes out for the 3rd time. But the Legends come through And Escalera, who was 0 for 2 coming in, comes up with a big double. 2-run score on the play, and the Legends have the lead. Well, the home team's in front, 2-0. Our score right now. Cavanario was sailing along. It only given up 2 hits, and then all of a sudden, back-to-back-to-back hits by the Legends, and they take a 2-0 lead as we go to the 7th inning. And we are welcomed now by the president and CEO of the Lexington Legends, Andy Shea. Andy, thanks for hosting us this night, and we're just having such a great time here and a terrific atmosphere.
Oh, this is a blast. We love having you guys here, and I mean, this really, this has been such a fun, exciting, community-oriented homestand for us, so this is just fantastic.
Well, lead double here to start things off for the Grasshoppers.
Andy, when you look at just talk to us a little bit about last night, and you talk about the community, how the community's really done a nice job here. Y'all had a big night here last night.
Last night was incredible. It was our military appreciation night, which every year we've grown and grown and grown. Really, it started the first year that I was general manager. My best friend in the world went to Naval Academy. He was a Marine. I was like, we got to have a military appreciation night. And every year we've learned a little bit more. We've met a few people, and I mean, last night was just electric. And there were so many tears in the crowd, from whether it was the first pitches, the different activities that we had going on before the game with the Wounded Warrior amputee softball team, and then throughout the game. It was amazing.
Well, the first pitch, the one that really caught my attention, was the 96-year-old veteran who came out and threw out that first pitch. She was delightful.
That was amazing. Well, that's the one that, I mean, that was a tearjerker. Yeah. It was amazing. And the thing that was even more amazing that I actually learned that night was that was the first time she'd been publicly recognized. Yeah. So I'm pretty proud that the first time was at our ballpark.
Yeah, well, she should be recognized. I mean, she was a part of a crew that would fly the wounded veterans back from D-Day and flew them back across the ocean. She wasn't actually flying. She was a nurse. But I read a story today in the newspaper that talked about how they couldn't give them food because the planes weren't pressurized then. All they had to give them was medicine and water on the way back.
It's wild. She is remarkable.
Andy, I don't think there's been many things in this ballpark that you hadn't been involved in. Is that correct? Starting all the way from the parking lot?
From the parking lot to, if you go to some of the pictures in the concourse, you'll see me as the mascot.
Okay,
oh my!
I know it's me. Yeah.
So your dad was, part of this, and then he said, "It's time for you to take over." Right?
Absolutely. Yep. And that's, I mean, I learned it from the ground up. And I mean, trust me, when I first moved here and I was 23, a year out of college, and 650 miles away from anyone I knew, I was thinking, what the heck am I doing, and for how much longer is this going to go on?
Right.
Now I wouldn't trade it for the world. Now I love being able to know what it was like being in the parking lot, know what it was like making 100 calls a day, going door to door for season tickets. So it's pretty awesome being able to look back at that and with those experiences.
Well, you've seen this ballpark and the changes y'all made from the beginning over the 15th. This is the 15th year anniversary.
Yep.
and everything. I mean, I love the stables and all the things that are out in the public that everybody can involved in. Anybody that comes to the ballpark here can find a way to have a good time.
Oh, absolutely. There's a little something for everyone, whether it's our kids area, the basketball court. We're one of the only minor league ballparks in the country that has 2 video boards, so we have all sorts of fun. And then when you factor in the mustache brand, that's pretty awesome too.
Well, the lead double doesn't hurt you. You guys still keeping them off the board. You mind sticking around for a half inning?
No, that sounds great.
All right, Andy Shea will continue. We'll continue that conversation in a moment. Watching Sunday Night Showcase on ASN. Well, Andy Shea is our guest. He is the president and CEO, and he's moved up from parking lot attendant to mascot all the way up to the top spot. So, folks, this is a lesson that you, too, can go all the way from the mailroom all the way to the top spot.
And it's fun. I mean, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I certainly would have then, but now looking back, I mean, it's so awesome. And I mean, I take great pride that I still have the word parking on my little radio that I use in the office.
But Andy, one of the other things you're greatly responsible for is the mustache. You guys have really made this a part of your logo.
That has been a blast. I mean, we did that. This is the 3rd season with that. And it was funny when we first did it. It wasn't totally out of the blue. I mean, our mascot has the big, goofy mustache. So, and then with the whole pop culture and contemporary culture and everything else, we were just like, hey, let's just go with the mustache on the hat. And that has just taken off. I mean, it was amazing when we saw it on yahoo.com the next day, when we were getting orders from everywhere from Germany to Washington State. And I mean, it has been so much fun.
One of the great things about here in Lexington, obviously, is college basketball, which does pretty well from time to time. And how do you guys now fit in this community with a community that is so crazy about Wildcat basketball?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, you got to just feed off of it, and especially the way that the seasons go. I mean, luckily the UK basketball season ended about 2 weeks before ours started this year. So, what better way to kick it off than have Willie Cauley-Stein throw out the first pitch?
Oh, great!
And it was actually really cool. It turned out to be the first pitches. His first one went about 15 feet over the catcher. He called it right back. The second one went about 3 feet over the catcher. Called it right back. And then he grooved it.
There
so
you go.
it was nice and entertaining.
Hey, 1 for 3 in basketball's not bad from the three-part arc.
Exactly.
That's right. Andy, you look at what has transpired here, and this was a community that really didn't even have baseball. From 1954 all the way to 2001. And to see this community wrap its arms around this team has got to be a great thrill for you and your family.
It really is. It's amazing. And, the thing that's fun is that when you say community, yes, we are the Lexington Legends, but it's far more than Lexington. Even today, today's a great example. We've got about 450 Little Leaguers here from Danville, which is about 45 minutes, an hour away. So it really is central Kentucky as well as anything.
We're visiting with Andy Shea, who is the president and CEO of the Lexington Legends. Tell us a little bit about, some of the things that you have ongoing for the rest of the summer, some of your promotions, some of the things that you have going on.
Well, for one, I don't think you can have too many fireworks. So we've got plenty of fireworks, and we're very proud of the show that we put on. I mean, it is almost like it's 4th of July every time we have a fireworks show out here. One of the other very popular promotions that we have is Bark in the Park, where you can bring your four-legged best friend out to the park. So,
That's great.
I've had my dog actually found, his name is Royal. He's a baseball dog. He was a stray that I found right out at the ballpark, and it was just one of those things where it was meant to be. So he comes out here every Bark in the Park, and it is a blast.
And I know a lot of your players get involved in the community here, and so you certainly are involved as well. We understand you're very big in Big Brothers Big Sisters, and that's something that means a lot to you.
It's amazing. It was about 6 years ago, which is pretty astonishing, when I first entered the Big Brothers Big Sisters program, and it was with Christian. And through Christian, it was then his cousin Curtis and his buddy Dayron and Byron and Keon. And I mean, it really is amazing. So now, the 5 of us, we all tell each other we love each other, and we do. And it's amazing. Curtis, the one who's in college right now, he's about to be a senior in college. He's the youngest of 7, and he's the first one in his family to go to college. And I told him, I was like, man, if you go through the first year, I'll cover the rest.
Wow.
Because I wanted him to be vested in it. I wanted it to be his process. But it's amazing. He's going into his senior year of college right now. So seeing their growth and seeing, who they were and now who they are, it really is incredible.
Well, good for you.
Talk to us about your T-shirt, Legends Kids Club.
Oh, yeah, the Kids Club's awesome every Sunday. So, first of all, it's a free ticket on every Sunday for every Kids Club member. And then at the end of each game, they run the bases. So, and then we've got all sorts of fun things throughout the year as well. Today they got a chance to go on the field and see the guys take BP. And, that's more of the fun stuff. I grew up in Philadelphia, and I grew up as big of a Phillies fan as the next guy. I never got to run the bases at the vet. I never got to. Yeah, that's right. I did in high school, I guess, but when I was in the Carpenter Cup, but not quite the same feeling. And, so seeing these guys, it's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of kids, you have young kids on this team that are doing well. 6 All-Stars. That's not bad.
No, and that's what's fun at this level, too. Being able to see the guys and being able to see that you saw them in single A.
Yeah.
I love being able to say, Jose Altuve, if anyone said that when he played for us that he was going to be the AL leader in hits, they are lying to you. He was, he was the nice story that the 5'6" guy, he's playing well. Now he's the, you can very easily argue that he's the best second baseman in baseball.
Mm-hmm. And maybe MVP of the National League.
Yeah, he really is. So being able to see those guys here, and then you've got the Pences of the world where, yes, everyone said that he was going to be a star, and he is. So it really is fun being able to see the guys here and see how they develop.
One of my favorites always was John Buck. And he's in your Hall of Fame here.
He is a big guy. Yeah. So he was on the initial Legends team, the very first. And he's another one of those guys that was more in the Pence mold, where it's like, this guy's going to be pretty special.
Yeah, Juan D. Rodriguez. There's been a lot of good players come through here.
It really has.
J.D. Martinez was the MVP of our league, and he was a 20th rounder. So that's what's fun too when you see the guys who might not have the fanfare or the hype coming into here, but they certainly do when they leave.
Roger Clemens played here.
He's all right. Yeah, I mean, he had a decent career.
He did okay.
That is a day I'll never.
Right now, Roger's thinking, how did John Buck get, a bigger marquee than I did in this deal?
It may have been 3 innings that Roger pitched, but that is something I will never forget that day till the day I die. I mean, that was amazing. And then being able to see, 40 feet across from him with Kobe playing, his son playing third base, that was pretty special.
2-0 in favor of your team. This is, we were talking about it earlier, what a great game this is, because it looked for all the world like Greensboro had the advantage throughout this game, and then you guys plunked together 3 hits in a row to get the 2 runs.
That's what's awesome. There's baseball for you. I mean, and I think it woke all the fans up. They thought they were watching a pitching, masterpiece, and then just like that, 3 in a row, and we get some runs on the board.
Andy Shea is our guest, the president and CEO. So how good a parking lot attendant were you? I mean, did you let anybody in, or were you just,
I was the best. I took people complaining about $2 parking for a high school game better than anyone. So I'd like to, if I didn't have thick skin, being a Northeasterner, I'd like to think I have pretty thick skin anyways. Yeah. But it was a lot thicker after that.
Just hold up 2 fingers. Is this what it costs?
Yes.
But aren't you glad that you did it all? I mean, so now you understand everybody's role here in the ballpark.
I love it. I love it. I mean, it was, and we didn't have chairs, and they've got chairs now, and it's like, hey, you guys have it easy compared to 10 years ago when I was doing it. But everything from that to everyone is the mascot. Everyone helps with the tarp poles. Everyone helps with parking. Everyone helps with sales calls. I mean, that's what's being part of that and really being able to see it firsthand. It was awesome.
Well, would you thank Gary Durbin for us? Because he brought up the most delicious hot dog I've ever had in my life.
The nachos he brought were good, too.
I will do that. That's funny. Being around ballpark food all the time, that's one thing I've had to train myself over the years. Because when I first got here, heck yeah, I was eating it every time I saw it.
I wear this thing where I have to walk 10,000 steps a day. This morning I walked 15,000 just knowing that I was going to eat something that wasn't necessarily nutritious, but it was going to be delicious, and it certainly was that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's funny. It's almost too good. The first few years I was here, people would be telling me about all the weight that they lose in the summer, and I was like, man, I'm going the opposite direction.
Well, it's too good. I mean, the food is always good, and that's one of the great joys of being in the ballpark. There's a pitch in the dirt, and all of a sudden the Legends have a guy standing at third with 2 out.
Command, always one of the scenarios, and a lefty-lefty matchup too as well. Davey, this is one of those times when you should have the advantage as a left-handed pitcher, but when you fall behind 3-0, no advantage now.
Yeah, no, none at all. And now you can't even bury a pitch.
Nope.
Because you got a guy over at third, and you're worried about one in the dirt getting away from the catcher. You already had one of those to advance a runner. You don't need another one here. There's a fastball in there for a strike, and it's 3-1. By the way, 3,838 on hand here tonight on your first Sunday night game.
Solid Sunday. I'll take it. Yeah, I mean, and again, it's a little bit of everyone. I mean, between the partnership with the Urban League, with Reese's Resources, with Danville Little League, that's what's so awesome. When you look around the crowd, it is such a wide range in terms of age, demographic, geography, you name it. And that's who we are. That's who I love being.
Yeah, well.
Your charity partners, too. Let's go through some of those that I know you're involved with.
Absolutely.
There's a ton here in the community.
Absolutely. I mean, for today's game right off the bat, for every ticket sold out of the box office, the Legends are donating $2 to the Urban League of Lexington, and I'm personally matching it. So very proud of that.
Andy, thanks for your visit.
Guys,
thanks for hosting us again. We've had a terrific time here in Lexington. And we'll come back to the ballpark in just a moment. Right now with the home team winning 2-0. Well, there's downtown Lexington on this Sunday showcase here from Lexington, Kentucky. And right next to that Hyatt Hotel is Rupp Arena.
Yes, it is.
You've been inside of there.
I've been inside.
I drove by the outside today. I've never been in. It's one of my
storied building.
Yeah, it's one of the places I'd love to visit someday.
Well, you spent a little time in another pretty storied building, too.
Well, little time in Allen Fieldhouse. Not UK, but KU.
Both of them, when you walk on the floor, it takes your breath away.
Yeah. Well, and that's a lot of that is because both schools have had so much success.
Well, I think it is. There's no question about it. Poly Pavilion I haven't been into, but I would love to go into in Los Angeles just because what John Wooden and that whole scenario as well. It's just it's the history, not only the building but the university and the coaches and everything.
Rodriguez swing and a miss. Strike two, 1 and 2 the count. And by the way, this might upset a lot of people here in Lexington, but Kansas fans take great pride in the fact that Adolph Rupp learned the game at Kansas playing for Fog Allen.
Yeah, I've heard that once or twice.
Right.
Lots of good Tuesday nights, Monday nights, and Saturday afternoons.
I've always thought if you could take a coaching tree from just 3 coaches in the game, and you used Fog Allen, Henry Iba, and then maybe either Dean Smith or John Wooden, take your pick, and how many other coaches have come up through those trees?
Oh my. Yeah, I would think it would look an awful lot like a ancestry from all your. If you went and looked at a family tree of a family, it would look a lot like that. That's how big it would be.
Yep. And you probably don't. I mean, we're in a baseball game, and I'm talking basketball. It's probably the wrong thing to do, but
it's part of the history.
You wouldn't even really have to include Adolph Rupp in that because he played for Fog Allen, and so did Dean Smith, who was at North Carolina. So. Then you include Dean Smith, and then you've got Larry Brown, and then you've got Calipari, who coached for him, and I mean, it just goes on and on. It's crazy.
Good piece of hitting right there. We talked about Rodriguez.
Thanks for getting it back to baseball, by the way.
Second time up.
Way to stay focused.
He's had an opportunity, but you can see why he is listed as one of the best hitters in the Marlins organization.
Throw to second, risky play, and a throw that hops away from Toops. And this will allow both runners to not only be safe, but to move up.
This is one of the things you think about and what you try to teach. Franco that time trying to make a play, and he's upsetting himself. You can see him right there. This is an out. Get an out, 2-0 lead. The guy you're worried about is the hitter. And right here, you got the opportunity. You try to go to second base and try to get that lead out, but it was going to be a really difficult throw. You're throwing back underneath your left elbow, throwing back across your body. It was just one of those plays that you're better off going to first, get the out, allow the runner to second base with 1 out. Now you got a ball game.
So now it's an error on the third baseman, Franco, on the throw. It allows not only Shales to be safe, but he goes to second. Rodriguez goes to third on the play, and still nobody out for Austin Smith.
Man's got 10 home runs and driven in 25.
I agree with you, Keith, that he should have just gotten the out at first.
Get the out.
And I think the other thing of that play was that Franco was not real decisive either. His throw to second base was a little bit timid. Throw here just in time. Boy, he almost waited a little bit too long, thinking he might be able to tag the runner coming from second to third.
Well, Franco almost compounded his mistake here. He had an opportunity to come to the plate and get Rodriguez. That was what I think he was thinking first.
Yeah.
And his first look, and then he went, oh, you know, I just better get an out. So all of a sudden now, the throw across the diamond, and his indecision allowed the runner to move up 90 feet. Infield will have to come up here. This is when you need that strikeout. If you've got the ability to strike a hitter out, you need it right now.
Twine struck out his last time up. Swing and a miss at a big curveball from Emilio Ogando.
Sometimes you don't have to throw a strike here, Dave. Just threw that breaking ball for a strike. Now a high fastball, about shoulder high, you might get him to go hag. See if he'll go outside the zone.
Infield in, runner at third, 1 run in, 1 out. And there's that high fastball for strike 2.
Now as a hitter, I don't know what's coming. I haven't a clue. I think you drop the curveball on the back foot right here and go for the strikeout right now.
Below, good catcher. He has to be aware if he bounces this pitch to make sure you block it. Just like that.
Almost got lazy as a catcher right there. He turned and tried his thumb down, and that pitch is when you got to get that thumb up and get underneath it. He tried to spot the fastball away instead of going to the breaking ball.
When you have that thumb down like that, easy for that ball to scoot onto the glove, right?
Exactly. And skip off of it.
Mm-hmm. There's that breaking ball for strike 3. Big strikeout for Agondo.
Another Kroger strikeout going out there.
2 strikeouts for Agondo, and he got Twine both times.
Well, he starts him out with a breaking ball, then the fastball, misses with the fastball, but he comes back to his best pitch to get the strikeout on a 1-2 count. This gets him to swing over the top of it. That's great motion and great location. Now, don't let up right here. A young pitcher, you think, well, that was the big out I needed. You still have the tying run 90 feet away.
Norwood, the batter, he's 0 for 3. Breaking ball too high. 2-1 our score. Greensboro, they have out-hit Lexington 8-6, but trail 2-1. Swing and a miss, and a good fastball hit a little dip to it, or was that a change?
I think that was sink to the fastball right here. You can see this little bit of sink right here. I don't think that's a changeup.
Yeah. Shakes off the low, wants something else. Ooh, that one missed somewhere, and it's now 2-1.
Now this is the biggest pitch of the at-bat. Norwood's best pitch to hit right here. I'm looking for something up in the zone, and not the curveball. I'm looking for the one that's straight.
And again, just a little bit low. Velo tried to frame that pitch, move it up just a little bit, but the home plate umpire did not buy it.
I've got this good a curveball. As a young pitcher, I have to have the ability to throw it for a strike when I'm down in the count. This is a good time for the curveball, 3-1.
Instead, he went for the fastball up around the bill of the cap.
Yeah, I mean, that's in a hittable location. As a hitter right there, you're sitting all over fastball. If you throw it 3-1, do you throw it 3-2? I still don't. I still like the curveball in this scenario.
You've got a couple of bases open. I know you don't want to put the go-ahead run aboard, but you've seen Norwood have a couple of good hacks here. You don't give in, I don't think. And there's the fastball hit into right field, into the corner, and a diving catch by Escalera. Wow!
This is just a great individual effort by Escalera. That's why he's one of the top 20 players in the organization. Great leap and catch.
In our Sunday showcase, best catch by far we have seen in the 3 weeks we've been doing this.
Well, Norwood at the plate, getting his 3rd fastball in the roll. This ball's up. He thinks he's got it right there. I've got an extra base hit, game tied. A great anticipation by Escalera, lays his body out. And look at Norwood. What do I do here? I can't hit it any better than I just did there. And he just held on. And they have a 2-1 lead. But that's an emotional thing. That's the emotion of baseball. One adulation on one side and dejection on the other.
Well, he wears number 21, and that looks like a play that Roberto Clemente would have made in right field for Pittsburgh.
We talked about how good a player he was, and you can see him coming on. Again, he was the youngest player drafted in the 2012 draft. It was in the 8th round, but he was the youngest player in the draft. He's making that transition and making it quickly.
So all he's done in this game, Keith, is have the hit that scored both runs for the Legends, and he just saved at least another run there. We don't give out a star of the game, but if there was one, it would be Alfredo Escalera. Royals fans, if you're watching this game right now, remember that name, Alfredo Escalera. You could be seeing him at Kauffman Stadium. Chad Johnson is the batter, and Johnson so far 0 for 2 in this game, and now a walk. Lead walk as the Legends look for some insurance here in the bottom of the 8th.
That's a good at bat for Johnson, who's trying to get his season going with the 6 weeks, nearly 7 weeks off with injury. In a lefty-lefty matchup, you're leading off the inning. Find a way to get a base runner. Well, you'd love to add some insurance here.
Well, Toops has been a tough out today. He struck out in the first, but then since then has doubled and singled. And his single in the 6th inning started a rally. There were 2 out, nobody on when he singled. Then Arteaga, he followed with a single, and then the single by Escalera played them both. So 6 hits for the Legends, and 3 of them came back to back to back in that 2-run 6th.
Slugging percentage involved as well as a double in that inning.
There's the bunt. Only play first base. Good sacrifice by Toops. And that moves Johnson down to second base in scoring position.
I've had people ask me, hey, when you're in the minor leagues, why do they bunt in the minor leagues? Why don't they let the guys hit, find out they can hit? You also got to learn how to play the game. And the little bitty things it takes to win a ball game at whatever level you're playing at, winning is contagious. How to go about winning is contagious. And when you get to the big leagues, your big league manager wants you to know, man on second, if I put the bunt down, you got to get him over. If they're leadoff hitter in a 1-run game in the bottom of the 8th inning, you're the home team, doesn't matter who you are, get the bunt down. Those are the little things they're teaching. That's why they do it at this level. You play the game to win the game here and to educate the athletes you have.
You see Logan Davis has come out to run for Chad Johnson at second base. Arteaga now the batter. He's 2 for 3. Well, 2 for 2 officially with a sack. Chopper off the plate foul. Arteaga, one of those guys that's starting to figure things out offensively.
That's why you see in the draft, yes. You see in the draft, a lot of shortstops drafted, a lot of center fielders drafted, and pitchers drafted. They've all hit 3rd or 4th in their high school or college lineups. They haven't been asked to bunt very often, so you got to teach all the game.
There's a swing and a miss. The ball gets by Vigil, and now a runner at 3rd and only 1 out. So this changes the at-bat for Arteaga, and I'm sure they're going to bring the infield in a 1-run game.
Oh, they will have to, and might have been a cross-up right there. See, as a catcher, you sure that that's there? Yeah, you could tell the way he went about it. He thought, you saw his thumb go down right there. He thought that was going to be a fastball. He got crossed up on the pitch, able to at least knock it down, but the runner does advance. Need a strikeout now, 0-2. That's a helpless feeling as a catcher when you call one pitch and you get another.
So the infield is in. Big insurance run now 90 feet away.
Expand the zone as a pitcher here. Up, out of the zone with the fastball, maybe over the plate. You can trust your catcher and bounce the breaking ball. You got ahead of him 0-2. You do not want him to throw a strike here. Too much of the plate there.
Yeah.
Need that ball in. Humberto will tell you, see right there, you see that reaction he had. Ooh, I had a pitch to hit right there. You only get one, possibly 1.5 good pitches to hit in every at bat. Sometimes you get none. If the guy's good enough on the mound, 60 feet, 6 inches away.
And that got too much of the plate, but a chopper out to short. Twine, an easy play for him, and that freezes the runner Davis at 3rd. Now 2 out.
Now you're not going on contact there because you have a good hitter coming up. He's had a good ball game, makes a great play out there. I would be surprised if he faces a left-hander here if they don't go to the bullpen.
And that will do it for Buckaloo as he exits, and they'll bring in a right-hander to face Escalera. So we've got a pitching change here in Lexington in the 8th inning. One of the things for Kevin Randall, first-year manager here with the Grasshoppers, he said it was tough for him to learn the art of changing pitchers and going to the bullpen.
Trying to run the bullpen. One of the hardest things I think a manager has to do. Conserve arms, when to use arms. knowing when they can bounce back, and just managing the bullpen, and as long as 25 other guys, with different personalities, and let alone try to manage your staff at the same time. So it's tough. It's a learning experience for me as well.
So he's made the change here with 2 out and a runner at third, and Escalera, who doubled his last time up. So I think this is kind of he had 2 choices here, Keith, in my mind. One was just to flat out walk Escalera and let his lefty Buckaloo stay in to face Ryan O'Hearn. Or his second choice, which is what he did, is he brought in a right-hander to take on Escalera.
Well, yeah, that's the choice you have, but you also got how many pitches as your left-hander, how often has he thrown? Again, it's about managing your bullpen. You get direct orders from the minor league director on, this is how many pitches each time we want this guy used. He's got to have a day off the next day. They don't want to overuse these young guys. So, you usually go into a scenario, or you may feel like that you have a better matchup because you have a guy that has a certain pitch that is capable of getting a strikeout against a good hitter.
Tyler Kane is the pitcher. And he'll be going after Escalera, who has been the star of the show for the Legends in this game. Not only a double, that he was only given credit for 1 RBI, second run scored on an error. But on top of that, Escalera, if you just missed it, one of the best catches we've seen, in fact, the best catch we've seen here on Sunday Showcase, a diving grab near the line in right field. And Escalera, with a runner at third, definitely saved a run, if not more. So now Escalera comes to the plate against Kane.
Kane's got a good hard breaking ball. He struggles at times with his command. He was a late pick in 2012, a veteran player at this point. He's been around for a while, but he's got a good slider. He struggled at times with his command, being able to throw that slider consistently for a strike.
This one hit down the right field line, pretty well hit. Norwood, though, tracks it down on the warning track, and 1 pitch, and that'll do it. Well, the Legends take a 2-1 lead into the 9th inning. Come back and watch and see if they can hang on to their 3rd win in a row. We already told you about the All-Star game in Port St. Lucie on Saturday, then Sunday from the Eastern League AA. The Harrisburg Senators will take on the Curve of Altoona, who are part of the Pirates system, and one of their players is Josh Bell. We'll be keeping a close eye on him. 2nd-round pick by Pitt in 2011. He is rated as the #3 prospect overall in the Pirates organization. So you want to stay tuned on Sunday for Josh Bell. And then we'll be heading to Peoria after that on Tuesday for another All-Star game in the AA. Ronnie Cabrera leads things off, and he looks at one that gets away from Ogando for ball 1. Well, it'll be Cabrera, Aper, and Davis unless there's a pinch hitter here by Kevin Randall, the manager. Strike 1 to Cabrera. 1-1 the count. He doubled his last time up.
Ogando's done a really nice job. Got behind the last hitter and made a pitch up in the zone. His outfielder took care of him, though. Escalera with a great catch. Now he wants to come out. The leadoff hitter will be so key in this inning when you're protecting a 1-run lead in the 9th.
And there's one drilled into the corner in left field. Last thing you wanted to have happen if you're the Legends, and that's a lead double in the 9th. So now the tying run is already in scoring position.
Nobody up in the bullpen, so got to get him over and get him in right here. Nice job. Got a fastball right there. Nice job of dropping the hands down. That was a good swing. Cabrera does a nice job of bringing his hands inside right there, allowing the barrel of the bat to get to the ball first.
You think he was looking in?
Well, he's looking fastball. There's no question.
He made the good adjustment on the pitch inside and drills it into the left field corner. And now we'll see what Aper does. You'd think he'd be bunting here to try to move him over. And a fastball upstairs. If you bunt here, you really want to bunt right at the third baseman. Take him out of the play.
Absolutely. That will advance the runner.
Down and in. 2-0 now to Aper. This always baffles me, too, and pitchers know a guy's giving himself up, and they fall behind a hitter. You know he's doing it. Just throw him a fastball up above the belt, and that's the toughest pitch to bunt. There's a strike, just like that.
Easier said than done sometimes when you see that guy square around. It really does affect a pitcher's perspective. And when he looks into a guy that's ready to hit or a guy bunting. O'Hearn really crashing in from first.
And that's a perfect bunt. Right at Franco, only play first base. Second baseman covering. And Cabrera moves to third. So the tying run now 90 feet away with one out.
And back to the top of the order to Davis. Infield will come up. This is that time again. If you've got the ability to strike a hitter out, you need a strikeout or a pop-up right here in the infield.
Davis with a couple of hits in this game. He's 2 for 4. Big breaking ball. Good stop by Velo.
Think you can give in right here. I don't like fastball in this count. I like to see him come back with his best pitch, and that's the breaking ball. Now you got some trouble now. As a hitter, you can zone it out. One pitch in one spot. Something I know I can get into the outfield in the air.
Well, he got his pitch and missed it.
Maybe too big a swing. If there's for a guy that's not really a home run man, that was probably a little bit too big. Instead of trying to make sure you make contact. Play the game right here.
Little tapper, speared by Ogando, and that'll freeze the runner at third. What a play.
What a nice pitch. That's one of the few changeups we've seen from Ogando. You can see him really take a good grip right there. You can see the grip in his hand. That circle change got him right off the end of the bat. Look the runner back, make a good strong throw to first. Big pitch. When you don't, that's your third pitch in your repertoire. That takes a lot of courage to throw it in that scenario.
Yeah, it sure does. So a big pitch and then a big play defensively. And standing at third, Cabrera, who led off with a double. Now Vahil is up. He has a walk and a single. And there's that breaking ball again, stopped by Velo. Well, I guess he went around on the play, so Vahil down in the count to Ogando, 0-1.
You do not want Rodriguez at the plate right now. You want this out right here.
You'd love to leave him in that on-deck circle.
There we go.
Big breaking ball, lifted into center field for a base hit. Vahil comes through, and that ties the game at 2.
Excellent piece of hitting. Stays back, looking breaking ball, gets something up. It wasn't one of the good breaking balls. It stays up. That's clutch hitting at its finest. You're down to your last out. Does a nice job keeping his weight back and just puts the barrel on the ball. That's a club right there that needs a win. They've lost 3 in a row. Good at bat.
So all tied at 2 now, and here is Arturo Rodriguez. He has 2 hits and 4 at-bats. Rodriguez is 2 for 4. That's the good news for Arturo. The bad news is he hit a fly ball to right field in the 3rd with runners at 1st and 2nd, and then with the bases loaded in the 5th, he bounced out to short.
Keep this ball in the ballpark. That's what I'm thinking as a catcher. What pitch can I call to keep the pitch in the ballpark?
And this one hit pretty well to right center field, but not well enough. And there's Escalera with the grab. But the Grasshoppers cash in on the lead double. And it's now tied 2-2 as we head to the home half of the ninth. Well, it's 2-2 as we head to the home half of the ninth inning as the Greensboro Grasshoppers scratch out a hit in the top of the inning. You look at Omar Ramirez, the manager here of the Lexington Legends, and when you look over the Royals' top prospects, Keith, Mondesi, the shortstop, who plays in Northwest Arkansas, boy, he is just a delight to watch. I mean, great with a glove, really starting to come on as a hitter. Manea, on the rookie league, a left-handed pitcher. In fact, all the rest of the guys are pitchers as far as the top 5 prospects for the Royals.
Brandon Finnegan has some big league time already.
He does. He's in Omaha right now. In fact, Finnegan was called up today by the Royals. So it's just in. He's no longer a prospect. He is
a big leaguer.
He's a big leaguer again. Here's O'Hearn. Guy with a lot of power. Look at that, 14 home runs on the year. So he's a guy that definitely could end this game with one swing of the bat. And he didn't check in time, and that's ruled a strike. So 2 strikes on O'Hearn, who has struck out 3 times in this game.
A great location with that slider just under his back foot.
Kane came on to face Escalera to end the 8th inning. And this one hit foul and out of play. Well, O'Hearn is a guy who loves to hit the fastball.
Just hunting fastballs, I would say. You know, laying off for the most part as much as I can, pitches in the dirt, like change-ups, breaking balls, stuff like that, and then just getting after fastballs up in the zone. And you know, it's a great place to hit, especially for hitting home runs. So that's pretty much it. Really, just getting after fastballs.
Right now, he can't worry about getting a fastball. He is down in the count 1-2.
His main job is reach first base.
Got a breaking ball there and fisted it out to the second baseman, Cabrera, and 1 down in the 9th.
There's days when he gets frustrated as a hitter. You can tell there's a frustrated young man right there. Just because you want to do something for your team. You're hitting that cleanup spot in the order. Got a chance right there to get something going in the bottom of the 9th after your team just tied it up and couldn't get anything started.
Here's Franco. Oh for 3 with a strikeout today. Slapped his thigh as he looks at that fastball go by thigh high.
Twilight right now. It's going to be tough on the outfielders finding the baseball. You got to help each other. Talked about the good slider, and you saw it again right there.
You see the frustration written all over Ryan O'Hearn.
They sure do.
Come back from that clubhouse, back up in the dugout. Up and in, 1-2 now to Franco. It's a tough game, Keith. Tough game. When you're
nobody said it's going to be easy.
Yeah, this is a hard game. And that's one of the things that you just have to try to stay positive in a game that really you fail more than you succeed. And there's a strikeout of Franco, and there's 2 outs here in the 9th.
A nice job of pitching right there. Couple of strikeouts. His good slider again. He said that was his out pitch. Well, he's shown a good one. Snap to it, and Franco way out in front.
So now Chase Velo, who's 0 for 3 today.
We've had a couple of momentum switches in this game, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
Grasshoppers were in total control of the game, but couldn't push anything across early. The Legends really did a nice job taking that 2-0 lead and trying to hold on to it. But momentum right now with the Grasshoppers.
And then even in that 9th inning where they had the lead double, that's momentum for the Grasshoppers. They bunt them over to third, still momentum for the Grasshoppers. And then a comebacker to the mound, you'd think, oh, man, Grasshoppers are going to be denied again. And then Vigil, momentum switch again. He comes through with a big 2-out run-tying single. Ball and 2 strikes here to Below. Below has struck out twice in this game. And he's struck out now for the 3rd time in the game, and the Legends go in order. So we've got some bonus baseball for you here on the Sunday Showcase. We go to the 10th, tied at 2. Well, you look at the line, the Legends with their 2 runs in the 6th inning, and all that came with 2 out, nobody on, and back-to-back-to-back hits, 2 singles and a double. Meanwhile, the Grasshoppers got a run with 1 out in the 8th inning, and then a 9th inning with their last man, their last chance, a runner at 3rd and 2 out, and Rodrigo Vigil comes through with a big RBI single to tie it up. So that's where we stand now as we go to the 10th inning, and believe it or not, Emilio Gondo is still out there and throwing for the Legends.
That was his 62nd pitch. I thought he had thrown more than that myself, but he's out here. Still seems to be fresh. He hasn't been able to retire that leadoff hitter to start the frame the last 2 times, and that's costing.
Yeah, actually the last 3 times. He gave up a lead double to Cabrera in the 7th, gave up a lead single to Rodriguez in the 8th, and then Cabrera again with another lead double in the 9th. And 2 of those times, Keith, the Grasshoppers able to cash in those lead hits. I think lead hits or lead walks come home to hurt you in the late innings more than anything. I mean, that's the biggest thing.
Leadoff walks just cost you ball games in the 7th, 8th, and 9th.
And here's a 3-1 count. Tough play for Arteaga. You see how he backed up and that hop came up funny?
Well, he really did a nice job. Great athletic move as he did get an unusual hop. And then how about the arm strength? What impressed me is once he got that unusual hop, he set his feet off his back leg. He was leaning back and had enough arm strength from deep in the hole to make this throw. Watch this unusual hop. Watch him backing up right there. And that's good arm strength. That's a 130 feet throw right there. Nice. Flipped it.
Yeah, he just kind of flicked it out there. Austin Smith now the batter. Breaking ball inside. Ball 1. Smith, well, he has done well here tonight at the plate. 2 singles and an RBI and a ground out in the 8th.
He's the big power in the lineup right here. You got to be careful to keep this ball in the ballpark.
10 home runs. Are you surprised with the wind blowing out? When we came into the ballpark, you kept saying wind's going out. Hitters love it. Wind's going out, and it's 2-2.
I am surprised we haven't seen balls leave the park. That's no question.
3-0 count is in there for a strike.
I guarantee you right now, Smith's looking for something up he can put a charge into.
Boy, he got something.
You can see that wince right there. Hitters know it. We've talked about it before in the broadcast. You know when you come to the plate, you hope you get that one pitch. He was working on fastball right there, got a pitch up, fouled it straight back.
Got another one right off the mask of the catcher Below.
It's like taking a punch. Even though there's padding around that mask, it does not feel good.
This one driven to right center field and deep. Escalera back at the wall, looks up, and it's off the top of the wall. It'll be a double for Austin Smith, and if not for the high wall, that ball was gone.
Well, he got a little help from the breeze, but he did square this ball up on the barrel going the other way. Got help with the breeze. Fortunately, that right there, that they held him to a double. That ball can come back off high off that wall, and you can see him get good extension right there. Don't know if it's going to get out. It does in that little indentation back there, and it's that's about 6 to 8 inches from going out of here the other way. Wow.
A pinch runner has come in to run for Austin Smith at second base. I believe it's Zach Sullivan, but we're still getting confirmation. It is Sullivan, yes. So Zach Sullivan comes in to pinch run at second base. He represents the go-ahead run here in the 10th.
Running at second base for the Greensboro Grasshoppers, number 24, Zach Sullivan.
So Justin Twine comes up. He's had a rough night at the plate. 2 strikeouts, and he's hit into a double play.
Can make up for all of that right now. That's why this is such a great game.
Yeah.
One good at bat right here, make up a tough night or a bad night, become a pretty good one. Right-hander tossing in the Legends bullpen. Falling behind now. You can see he's starting to tire, over 70 pitches.
Yeah.
Starting to tire a little bit. Doesn't have that same rhythm. His release point is moving around a little bit.
And Twine gives it a ride. Deep left field, and it is gone. Justin Twine, a 2-run homer, and Keith, you called it, falling behind in the count. It cost him with Smith, and it really cost him with Twine.
Well, Twine set on the high fastball, got a pitch up in the zone, and he did put a charge in this one, folks. Out of here easily to left center, got a little help from the breeze. Watch this extension. No doubt about it. You can see Norwood right behind him as the on-deck hitter knew that this was out of here and out of here easily. People looking up into the trees in left center.
Yeah, the wheels have fallen off here of Ogando as he gave up a run in the 8th, another in the 9th, and now 2 runs here in the 10th, and the Grasshoppers have a 4-2 lead. And this one is hit pretty well to left center field, and at the wall, Downs brings it in. 2 out.
Now, I would think you're going to see a move here, even though it's maybe a little bit late at time, but 3 balls in a row hit right on the button, 2 to the warning track and 1 out of the park. And we will see a move here.
So Ogando gave it all he could, but kind of ran out of gas towards the end. So a move to the bullpen, and it'll be Jake Newberry coming out of the pen.
Well, Newberry came in relief against Greensboro on Friday night, where he went an inning and 2/3, allowed 4 hits and 2 runs, both earned. Struck out 3, didn't walk a batter, and that's his last outing. So he needs to come out and find a way to get an out here. You start peeking ahead now to the bottom of the frame, knowing you got to chase a couple.
Now, Kevin Randall, the manager of the Grasshoppers, saying, you know, this is a long season and it's a developmental situation. Says, I'm just trying to stir the pot.
Oh, yeah, it's maturity. You know, they're all green, you know, greener than bananas, you know, they're not ripe yet. We had our GM in town, Mike Berger, and he called it a crock pot team. You know, you just kind of have to let it slow cook. You know, they're not the guys you just pop in the microwave and send to the big leagues. It's a crock pot team. You just kind of turn it on, leave, come back into town. Maybe it's a little bit more ready. Just simmer down, simmer. Everybody be patient. You know, 19-year-old kids, they're puppies, you know, and they're surviving. They're doing a great job.
So these puppies are barking up the right tree right now as they've come up with a big 2-run home run by Justin Twine here in the 10th inning to come all the way back from a 2-0 deficit to a 4-2 lead.
Yeah, they dropped 3 in a row coming into this ball game, and boy, they felt like they were in control early in the game. They just could not score. And then they've scored here in both the 8th, 9th, and now 2 in the 10th to take a 4-2 lead.
So here is Newberry making his 15th appearance on the year. Veteran pitcher Newberry. Newberry picked up in the 37th round back in the June 2012 draft. And a fastball in there at 91 miles per hour for strike 1 to Cabrera, who has doubled twice in this game. Cabrera scored the tying run in the 9th. Pops this one up. The second baseman Tubes handles it, and that'll do it. So Newberry makes quick work of Cabrera, and we go to the bottom of the 10th with the Grasshoppers leading 4-2. So we go to the bottom of the 10th inning, and the Legends are now finding themselves in a hole for the first time, trailing the Grasshoppers 4-2 in this game. Bottom third of the order due up for the Legends, and they'll face a new pitcher in Kyle Fisher.
Well, you look at Kyle Fisher's numbers, 1-3 on the season, 2.53. But what jumps off the page to me, he's only allowed 26 hits in 32 innings of work. He's only walked 8 batters, so that's a pretty good number. He's got a good whip. How about this? 35 strikeouts in only 32 innings of work. Good, hard breaking ball and a good fastball, what that means to me. 2-pitch pitcher, a guy that's being set up or brought about to be a 7th, 8th, and 9th inning guy. You know, you like those guys, and you sort of get a feel when you draft a guy that, well, he might fit in that mode because he comes in, he throws strikes early, he's got a good strike-to-walk ratio, and has the ability for the swing and miss.
Well, leading off for the Legends will be Brandon Downs. Downs 1 for 3 in the game. Legends won the first 2 games of this series. They'll complete the series tomorrow night. Legends right now at 28-34 on the year. They've won 6 of their last 10. Surprisingly, the Legends have an above 500 record on the road, but under 500 here at home.
And that is surprising. This is a great ballpark to play in.
Yep. Sometimes it just works out that way. 1-1 now, the count to Downs.
Sometimes you start forcing the issue at home as well.
Yeah.
You want to play well in front of the crowd.
Swing and a miss, 1-2 to Downs.
That almost looked like a cutter right there, Dave. The ball that sort of ran away from him at the last minute. But that's his put-away pitch right there with 2 strikes.
Two balls, 2 strikes to Downs. Swing and a miss, and this will be strikeout number 15 for the Grasshopper pitching staff here tonight. They've used 4 different pitchers, and they have 15 strikeouts.
Well, they're going to have to record 30 outs to win the game. They have 28 right now, more than half recorded via the strikeout.
Ooh. That's some pretty good pitching for Kevin Randall's team here tonight.
He's got the crock pot on medium right now.
The left fielder for your Legends, number 3, Samir Dueñas.
Samir Dueñas is now the batter. He's 0 for 3, and he struck out twice in this game. Little tapper off the glove of Fisher to short, and not in time. That'll be an infield hit for Dueñas.
That's a safe call brought by Nicholson Insurance Agency for your personal business insurance
You
needs.
see right at the end, this is good hustle.
For more.
Get over as a first baseman, get ready to go. Got to catch it and get rid of it at the end, but good hustle. Can smell that base hit, gets it right there.
That one little extra crow hop by Twine might have cost him.
The only way he's going to get an out there is barehanded, I believe.
Yeah. Tough play all around, and Dueñas now. That brings
pinch hitter.
The tying run to the plate, and we have a pinch hitter. And this is the pinch hitter that is on everybody's mind because he is going to be a starting right fielder in the All-Star game. This is Elier Hernandez.
He's been really good. Still learning how to take some more pitches, but tremendous arm, great outfielder. Getting the night off today, but not all of it right now. They're looking for an extra base hit.
So Hernandez pinch hitting here for Chad Johnson. He represents the tying run. And a bouncer up the middle. Twine's got it. to second for one. The relay in time, and the Grasshoppers have their first win in the series as they come from behind a 2-0 deficit into a 4-2 victory.
Well, really nice job of coming back, staying in the ball game. Had control of the game, it seemed like early, but couldn't push a run across. But how about scoring in the 8th, 9th, and 2 in the 10th to come away with a victory?
Well, the big hit, of course, the 2-run home run by Justin Twine in the 10th inning. But I look back to Vigil and what he did with that big hit with 2 out in the 9th inning to send it into extra innings. So what a night here in Lexington, Kentucky, with the Grasshoppers coming all the way back to win it by the final score of 4-2. So what a great night. Keith, thanks so much for all that you have done here tonight. Ashley Bullington, we thank her as well. For stats, highlights, features, and more, go to AmericanSportsNet.com. Good night from Lexington, Kentucky.